This song gets better every day.
It does. I love this. How does this make you feel, Mark?
This makes me feel relaxed. And nervous at the same time, if that makes sense.
A song does that to people. Relaxed and nervous. Because you're like, is this a cool groove, or am I about to be...
Is there going to be a problem later?
What's going on around me here? What is happening? What's happening, Peter? What's... Oh,
thank
Didn't
God.
even have my mic on.
the underpaid producer doesn't even know how to use his own equipment.
This guy yelled at me for unplugging the cord over here, too.
He yelled at you?
Yeah, well, he said no one's ever done that before.
No. Way to make our guest feel comfortable.
Nobody has ever done that.
I've been here for
before.
60 seconds. I'm waiting for like weird cop humor, and I hear no one's ever done that.
You
Way to
have
go.
just single-handedly destroyed our studio.
Here to shame you. Mark, you're here to be shamed today. This is why you're here.
That's
So
fine. That's
gonna
fine.
be
I'm
awesome.
fine with it.
Yeah, you are officially a higher-ranked member of this team now than the underpaid producer, so you're
I'll
good.
take it.
Technically, that's not saying a lot, but it is saying something.
It's not much. I know. I understand that.
Thanks.
So, man, we here we are.
Yeah.
And we have done zero planning, as
Let's see.
usual.
And so Mark's going to see very quickly that is just how it's going to happen.
Do you know the name of this show?
I do know the name of the show. Now, I had to look it up because,
Because you were not a listener.
well, Dave and I had the scheduling thing. I have listened. I listened. I think you guys did something about it.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
we
we did.
There
Yeah.
was actually, I'm already exposing myself as a bad trainer. I was in the parking lot of Culver's waiting for my wife to come out, and I think you guys either aired it.
Butterburger
I
burgers.
know, right?
Butterburgers.
Single bacon deluxe.
I've never had a burger from Culver's, so I don't know.
It's
I
delicious.
never
It actually
thought
is.
twice about it, and then my whole family who lives in Howell was just like in love with it,
Oh,
and I
yeah.
kind of felt like the outsider. I'm like, "What's this?" And they looked at me like, "You don't know what Culver's is?" And so I took a bite, and it was like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah.
No, but then,
Butterburger.
but I heard, and then there was another episode. I'm in the parking lot. I don't know if you recorded it or if it's live, but it was actually a very serious conversation about kids with special needs and all that.
Oh, yeah, those things.
those
That was
serious
our-
conversations.
those
That was our clickbait.
No, I was talking about the kids. Those
Attacking kids.
things.
What do we call? What was the title of that one? Something
Oh,
attack-
taking on kids.
taking
with
on
special-
kids with special needs.
Oh
Yeah.
my God, it's so
Get them,
good.
get them clicks.
So, okay, so Mark, tell us who you are. Give us your name. Give us your number. Tell us. Give us. Entertain us. Starting now.
I will try.
We want this to be the best show ever. No pressure. No pressure at all.
Which is funny because about a month ago I said, Dave, give me the questions, give me the topics, give me the time slots,
Yeah.
give me everything. And
And you knew that was not going to happen.
From 3:08 to approximately 3:17, we will discuss absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
And I got a message about 2 hours ago being like, don't worry about anything. It's like, all right, great.
That's what I did.
Yeah, we just kind of do a
Don't you
thing,
worry
you know.
about it.
Like, so in the cop world, like, you kind of like, you'll get an in-car message like, hey, you want to meet over here? And you just kind of like pull up and there's no plan. It's just whatever, I guess.
Well, it's funny. I
We
was,
just talk.
It actually. So he's because he says, hey, Dave, just so you know, I like to plan. You know, I'm one of those guys, which is like all the things that you want in, you know,
In a real guest.
and I was like, oh yeah, I'll get back to you. And I never got back to him, and then until like literally like on the way, I'm like, you know, just don't worry about it, man.
Here's Mark over in some chalkboard drawing like a beautiful mind. There's this whole scene about how the podcast will go.
equations and oh my god,
And we're just coming with an eraser and just like start it.
and then we whip out crayons, yellow crayons.
Well, that's
So-
the thing. I'm jumping ahead a little bit, but I'll get a new client, and I'll test them and all that, and I'll write out the program at home, and they'll come in and I'll say, for 2 weeks, we're going to do this, and then we're going to do this, and then we're going to do that. And I'm so pumped up, and I'm walking them through it, and all this planning, and they go, yeah, sure, whatever. Just tell me what to do first. And it's just like, all right. I was so pumped. But, you know, they do the work, so I won't complain. But to finally answer your question, my name is Marc Pogorzelski. I co-own a personal training studio, strength and conditioning studio, whatever you want to call it, with my wife. On a good day, she's majority owner. On a bad day, it's all me. It's in Wixom on 12 Mile and Beck. It's called Upper Echelon Fitness and Performance. We just like to call it something really long so then we can do the cool acronym of UEFP.
Ooh,
UEFP.
And we'll put the
Well, yeah, if
all
you're
the
if you're
vital data and
you're a Metro
information.
Detroiter or a Metro Wixomer. Wait, is that a thing?
Yeah, that's what we'll do.
Wait, is Wixom still in Oakland County?
It is Oakland.
Yeah,
Trust
it's
me,
Oakland
from my taxes, I know it's Oakland County.
So if you're in Oakland County,
Yeah.
then we're gonna drop. Well, we as in Mark will drop some knowledge fitness bombs on you.
Yeah.
I am at the bottom of this. Do you know what was in here?
Probably something with strawberries and whipped cream. Weirdo.
It was last night.
And
there were 5 people involved. It got crazy. No, this is the end of my Black Rifle coffee.
Oh.
My Thin Blue Line bag. And I don't have much left. I got to order some more. So, I know you don't drink coffee. Do you drink coffee?
I just never acquired the taste, which is probably because my dad
Get
drank
out.
like a I know, right?
We both get up and just like sulk out.
This guy here.
I've sworn to myself
I'm the
that I will
only
never
coffee
drink,
drinker in the room.
That I will never drink coffee.
There's absolutely no
Really?
reasoning behind
Yeah, there's
it.
no rhyme or reason.
There's
I don't
no,
want-
there's
I
no
don't-
like. He didn't have a bad experience growing up.
Don't wanna
I didn't
get-
I didn't burn him as a child with coffee.
I don't want to get.
I didn't force him to
Listen.
drink coffee. There was no traumatic experience. He didn't get in a car wreck and turn and see a Dunkin' Donuts and like connect it with a trauma. There's no reason. But he's so adamantly passionate against coffee.
I don't want to get yellow teeth,
Can
and I don't want to waste a
can
bunch
I-
of money on coffee.
I can assure you, you're going to get old. You're going to get yellow.
What is it called when I stop making you my kid? Is there a legal process?
I don't
Well,
know.
there's an incorrigibility thing, but he's not even that tough.
I don't live with you anymore, anyways.
I was gonna
doesn't
run.
really
I
matter
was gonna
what I
run
do.
away, but I really. There was a time when he was a little kid at the dinner table where he said something along the lines of like, he hated it here because I was making him eat. I was making him eat something at dinner. Like, no, you're gonna eat your dinner. This is what's gonna happen. And he's like, I hate it here, or whatever. And I'm like, oh really? And I picked him up out of his chair, and he must have been like 4 or 5 something maybe. And I set him outside on the front porch that we had this big deck. I'm like, goodbye. Close the door. He's out on the front porch like crying. Like, oh, you're interested in coming back home yet? Yes. Like, you don't have to stay here.
Isn't that great?
You can walk.
Oh my
You can
gosh.
keep on, take your little 5-year-old feet and move on somewhere else, pal.
Mark, all the fun things you have to look forward to, I can assure you.
Oh, as a parent, yeah. Well,
Yes.
It's weird that my dad is in his mid-60s, and he was drafted in the Army. I mean, he was just it was like, permission to have breakfast, sir. And it's funny with that story. I remember jumping on my bed, and I'm like 7. And he's like, you don't jump on your bed. And I'm like, why? And he's like, it's for sleeping. And he's like, if you want to jump on a bed, buy your own and get a job. And I'm like, I'm 7. Like, I just stopped jumping, and I looked at it, I was like, I'm 7. Like, but it didn't, the logic with him didn't work. It was
Next
just,
morning, you're thumbing through the want ads.
Yeah.
Like, 7 years old.
It was just him. It was just go get a job. Like, you're 4 or 40, go get a job. I was like, okay, I guess.
Exactly.
That's great.
That's awesome. Yeah. So you got to transfer the personal training business into the parenting. You know. So yeah, you got to have the plans in place for your kid.
All the plans that won't work out. As I've gently
2 weeks.
seen.
2 weeks. For 2 weeks, this is what's going to happen, and then for 2 weeks, this is going to happen.
Well, it's funny. I take my daughter. She's going to be 2, and I take her to the studio with me, which everyone says you have no idea how much you're saving on daycare.
Oh,
Oh my God.
But and I think the clients just want to see her more than me. But it's funny.
Not
that,
surprising, Mark.
Oh yeah, you should.
We all know you.
You should
so.
definitely use her like Mary Kate and Ashley or something like that. Like a little the cuteness just to draw in. Put her on billboards.
Oh, she's been on our Facebook page.
There you
trust me. But it's just.
Oh,
it's
you got a
just-
Facebook page,
I
but
do
you have no
a-
Instagram.
Exactly right. I can't handle. I can only do one social media thing. But no, it's just in the sense of people think like the idea of training will carry over to her, and she's going to be this disciplined, regimented kid, which I hope for the best. And I don't want to make her work out, but I think like all of watching people work out is going to be like when she's 10, going to be like, do I have to work out now, Dad? Going to make me
God,
bench
yes.
press, Dad? Like,
Yeah, that
do I need
sounds
to
about
squat
right.
200 pounds, Dad? Like that. I wonder if it's all going to backfire on me. no
And
matter what.
that's where his inner dad said, "Yeah, you need to do that. Get up on that bench now. Go on now." I don't know why. I don't know why he'd have to sound like that, but he does. He has no choice.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, I'm the only coffee drinker, and if you drink coffee like me, blackriflecoffee.com and use the code ThinBlueLine for 20% off, and it helps support Humanizing the Badge.
Boom, boom, boom.
Dun dun dun.
So,
There's our sponsorship.
wow, we went through that pretty quickly.
Completely natural too, not forced at all.
Not at all.
I know how to work it in there.
You look good today.
That's what she said. You look good. We had a hey. Let's do a quick week in review. We need to cue this up here real quick. We have these. We only have 2 segments, maybe 3.
Yeah.
But we only have a
they're
lead.
the
We only
best.
have a lead in for 2.
Yeah.
So we need a little.
This is the freaking week in review.
So I don't know what's been going. I mean, yeah, we've kept up. I don't know if anything major's happened to you this week. We had a little snap war.
Yeah. I would say that
This
we
week.
did.
We threw down.
The fisticuffs, social media fisticuffs, if you
We
will.
threw bones. I don't know if that's what does that even mean.
Yeah, it means exactly that. Okay, that would be weird, I guess.
I think that isn't it like throwing bones when you like try to tell the future with like chicken bones in a
no,
skillet or
isn't
something
bones
like that.
Isn't it dominoes or doing that? I don't know.
Throw bones.
Mark, talk to us.
Yeah,
'cause-
no offense, guys. I have no idea.
Mark, you're from Wixom. You know about the inner city.
Yeah, you know exactly what we're talking about here. Speak
Throw
on the
bones.
matter.
Throwing bones. Yeah. Can you look that up there, underpaid producer? I'm shocked.
Throwing bones?
You really haven't even looked it up. I anticipated that you would have beat me to it because we were wondering
And not just that, but had an actual sound clip.
of throwing bones.
Yeah. Do it.
What does it
What do we
mean?
got?
Put this to rest.
Well, the Urban Dictionary says.
Whoa!
This is a rated X
is-
podcast, not rated XXX.
What are you trying to? It doesn't. Nothing pops up.
Well, you probably didn't mistype something. God,
No, I
figures.
didn't.
BONES.
He's like, no, I didn't.
Throwing the bones is an ancient divination technique. That's
gotta
what
be
that
it.
is.
Yeah, but why would we throw bones at that point? Like, are we just trying to figure
Is
out
that
each
but do
other's?
people use that as an expression for fighting?
I wouldn't think so.
No,
Well,
nobody
no.
does.
you don't even.
Stay out there
You couldn't
throwing
even type it
bones.
right into Google. God, how is he supposed to know?
Google that. Google expressions for fighting.
Ooh, that's what I'm
There we
talking
go.
about. I want something ancient. I want something 30s, 1930s.
1930s expressions for fighting.
Actually, yeah,
Yeah, see?
yeah. Oh, here we
What-
go. He makes
The
faces.
quizzical look? Whimsical?
Not whimsical.
Not whimsical.
Not whimsical.
This doesn't. No, this doesn't make any sense.
It's like I'm afraid to even like Google. Oh, I know.
These don't make
He's
any
declaring.
sense.
You know what doesn't
He's
make sense?
declaring he knows more than Google.
Yeah, and not just that, but he's probably just doing an image search for some reason right now. He's, not even, he's like, this doesn't
all
make sense
all
at
that
all.
pops up is fighting sayings and.
You're a tank, Rock. Wait, what?
Yeah, no, these aren't making. Yeah, these don't make any sense. It's like all the thesaurus is just what pops up.
Oh God!
Is
that
anybody,
was so, that was
in the mood
horrible.
for
People are going to fast
terrible
forward right
Irish
through that
whiskey?
part. That was the worst. I will not drink that stuff.
It's all I got.
I tasted
I had
that stuff for like
Barely any
12
of that
days
left.
afterwards.
This is all I have, literally. I did not have enough time to get anything else. So.
I told him.
Do you want bad Irish whiskey?
No,
I told him.
I'm, not the
never.
only, I'm literally the only one who's going to drink whiskey on our podcast.
No.
Oh, you've got your.
No.
Is there more
But
inside here?
I got to drink out of the bottle.
Have you seen any episodes about General Mantis?
No.
He's got Overwatch.
Is this right? Tell everybody that it's 7 a.m. when we're recording this.
That's perfect.
No matter what time, they'll believe that we've been drinking. So
Yeah, they know. They know the truth. General Mantis is in the house, watching over as always. And I'm going to. I got to. Oh. There we go.
I mean, it sounds good. But
It sounds delicious.
Tastes like crap.
It's horrible. I'm not going to lie. It's
Good then, I'm good.
It is bad.
It's bad.
Why are you doing this to yourself?
Because it's still whiskey. What did you not get about this?
I'm sorry.
Is he
I'm
your
sorry,
kid or
guys.
is he not your
I'm
kid?
sorry. I don't know what happened.
Well, I think you do.
Yeah. For that 2-week period I was gone away and my wife was in a good mood. Well, here we go.
Here we go.
There we go.
I was away.
Now we're looking at it.
I was far, far away.
I was not even close. Actually, I think he was like some kind of defect in a condom. Oh my god. There was like we weren't trying.
Mark's like, I'm just gonna be quiet.
I love him, but he wasn't on purpose.
I was gonna say, but accidents happen.
I got to ask. Do people hear that and not get it? Like they don't get
Oh
the humor?
God.
Like,
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I think our core audience kind of like gets it, but people kind of come in and they're like, "Wait, I don't know what's happening. Why is he
Yeah.
being so mean to his? Is that really his son?
And they will actually
Why is he so
they'll
mean?"
respond to it like, I can't believe you're so cruel. That's your son. And da 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 da. Oh jeez, you can't even pour that right. It's so
But
bad.
the design is
It
terrible.
wasn't- it
Even
was- I was
nothing
gonna
is
say
good
it's
about
not-
this.
I wasn't blaming you on that.
Oh,
Did I ever
I
tell
smell
you?
yours, not mine.
Hey, shh. Hey, did I ever tell you about when I found out that Joyce was pregnant with my well, I think it's my Ken, but with Ben? Oh my gosh, dude!
Wait a second. Well, I mean, I remember you guys finding out. I don't know what details
when
I
found
have
out,
or don't have.
When I found out, I was on the freeway.
Hold on. I need something surprise. I want a surprise drop, like surprise, like some kind of audio.
What are you?
You know what? You're dropping the ball. If you don't want to get
I don't
paid
know.
anymore,
I don't know what that means. A surprise. I want
Like
surprise.
balloons popping or people clapping. Or
Yeah, oh my God! See, how is Mark not taking your job over?
Don't ever have this guy back on ever.
Don't come in here, unplug my stuff, and then give me ideas. What's wrong with
Problem
you?
is I
Give me the best
I
ideas
can't,
ever.
like, I can't preview this sound.
Even better.
That makes it even better.
Well, you want it right now?
Yeah, he's gonna tell a surprise story about finding it. Perfect.
Yeah, that was the best.
Perfect.
Yeah,
was-
this
yeah,
this was my
A
surprise.
surprise pregnancy.
Yes.
Two of my 4 kids were surprises, despite
Really?
using instruments of that were
Deception?
hopefully, well, I just like to think that I'm so virile. I penetrated the one thing that humanity tries to use to stop it. Like
Either that, or she was just. You
my
guys
boys swim upstream so strong.
Stop.
They
This is too far now.
or either. Yeah, you're right. I'm not even gonna. Let me just. Okay. So
Okay, so this
so
is
how I
surprise.
found out. What surprise? How I found out was I was.
I'm Michael Jordan. Stop it. Get some help.
There we go. Now we're rolling. Now we're cooking with
See,
peanut oil.
finally.
Now we're cooking with peanut oil.
You know what though? He had to step up his game because Mark's here.
Sorry.
Yeah, there's a little friendly competition going
Yeah.
on here. You guys should do some pull-ups after this.
I would lose. I'm out
would
of
I.
shape, man. I'm not completely out of shape.
You know what? I blame myself. I blame us. I mean, we have come back together with team building exercises from Google, but when we mocked him for running to CVS, he hasn't ran since that day.
Yeah, I stopped.
You could
I used to
basically
run
say
all
that
the
we are
time.
responsible for
Me
putting
getting
in-
fat.
Oh,
Maybe you've got some pointers when we get
Yes.
to the actual. What you're going to understand is we're actually not going to really talk to you much.
fine.
yeah.
or ever. You might just leave and be like, I really expected some questions about fitness and nutrition.
They'd be like, you know what? I think I heard your voice. I think, but nothing really happened after that. These two
Well, per
idiots.
usual, I will call my wife when I leave, and she'll be like, "How did it go?" And I'll be like, "It went okay. It went."
I unplugged
He
some
just starts
stuff.
crying.
I think I got a new gig as a producer, maybe.
A co-underpaid producer.
Co-underpaid
It's like it's The Office. Have you watched The
yeah,
Office?
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
So the assistant manager
Assistant to the
assistant
underpaid
to the region-
producer.
assistant to the producer, assistant producer to the underpaid producer.
Michael!
I don't. How that? Whatever.
They have the battle for who's number 3. I think like they merge, and it's like you're
Yes.
number 2, and it's like, well, screw you, I'm number 3. Like,
Yeah. Good times.
I
I need
was
to go
actually
back and
just
rewatch
watching-
it again.
Yes, I was just watching.
How many
some
times have you
bloopers.
seen it all through?
I've probably seen it all through like 5 or 6 times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a lucky man.
yeah.
He knows his office.
Yeah. Oh,
Feel-
wait. We're not going to talk about him. We're going to talk about my.
Yeah. You
we're
had a
gonna talk
surprise
about my
kid.
woes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I found out on
There
the
you were.
freeway going into work.
There you were
There I was.
having sex with our diversity team.
Yeah.
Yes, I think. Whatever she wants to call it. And she's like, yeah, well, I'm pregnant. And I was on the freeway on my way to work, and I'm like, what? And she told me again. I seriously, I'm thinking, and I still every time I pass it, it's the same spot that I still remember where she told me. And they've completely redone that freeway since then, so it's not even the same. But somehow, like, it's just still gravitates there. I didn't talk to her for 3 days.
Oh my God.
What?
Yeah, I was pissed, guys.
At what? That you know what happens when one thing happens to another. Like you understand the birds and the bees, right?
Yeah. Well,
Okay, so
I was on my way to freedom.
you
My
saw
daughter
light.
was-
You
oh,
saw
I
light.
did.
Yeah, how old
Yeah.
was she then?
She would have been 11 or 12.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was almost 12. I was free. I was free as a bird. I was singing free bird, and when she said that, I was like, what? And I didn't talk to her. Seriously, I think it was like 3 days. And
Oh man.
I mean, wait, and this is where you go. No, but I mean, he's a blessing. He's a blessing. Wouldn't have it any other way. Wouldn't have it any other way. He's a blessing.
Surprise!
But yeah, it was a huge surprise. I mean, you go 11, 12 years, and all of a sudden it's like,
with no plans of having
guess
anymore.
what? Absolutely not at all.
Right.
You know, gosh. I'm still mad at her.
You know what? I'm gonna start again. I'm not talking to her right now.
What you like? How did it end? Like, because you said you were pissed, but like, were
I
you like,
divorced
way
her.
to go. Like, what did you? How did that go?
Honestly,
I gotta know.
the rest is I've completely blacked out, and I still like can't think back on what I did after that because my life is I blacked it out. Everything's done unknowingly. So
I don't know how I got here today.
yeah, I seriously don't remember. Did I even work last night? And I can just assume that I did because I always work.
Because you always work.
Ooh, I'm working overtime tonight too.
Oh my goodness, man, you got problems.
I do. Oh, and I want to talk about that.
You
with
have
Marc.
an addiction to work
Oh, to work too. Yeah, for sure.
and cocaine, but mostly work.
and some other.
Did you hear
things.
the? Oh! This is a news story. We need the drop real quick. Maybe you guys have heard this. Hot off the presses, guys. I actually have no particular news article. Someone sent this to me in a Snap group. I can't verify it's a reality.
I just
this
verified
could
it
be
for you.
This could be fake news,
It's not. Go.
but it's probably not. That a bunch of Coors Light beer was found to have cocaine in it.
Oh my god.
Really?
Yeah, people started complaining that they were feeling like weird.
Awesome.
Yeah, I would like. Why would you complain? I'd be like, Coors is the greatest ever. I'm ready to party.
Yeah.
And no, I guess it's a big deal out there.
Wow.
With Coors putting cocaine, kind of like old school Coca-Cola, you know,
Right.
with cocaine in it.
Man. Well, that's good news. I'm not sure it's okay. I'm sorry.
Oh, look, somebody's important. Is that a telemarketer?
It's a telemarketer, but they will never answer.
We gotta
I'll
try.
Let's
We gotta try.
Gotta try it.
Hello. Hello. See, it never.
Hello?
Oh, hey, hey.
Hi, is Jason Melkonian available?
This is Jason.
Hi, I'm Tavari Yasmin.
Hello.
Calling from Diversified Consultancy for Freight Ed.
That sounds very open and accepting. Diversified, you said?
Yes, sir. I was just reaching out to you regarding your AT&T. And this communication is from a debt collector. This is an attempt to collect a debt, and any information obtained will be used for that purpose.
Okay, great.
$2,010.64. Is that something you wanted to get resolved today?
Well, how about this? I can tell you that first of all, I don't have $2,000. I barely have the $10. But however, honestly, I am not Jason Bourne like you think. I am actually a whole different person, and they actually gave you a bad phone number. And I'm not kidding
Okay,
about
I
that.
appreciate that.
But I can tell you that you are actually on a podcast right now.
You're live on a podcast. How do you feel about that?
That's awesome.
Off the cuff podcast. I hope you give it a listen.
Don't be embarrassed. Don't be embarrassed.
Really, I am just a little bit, but I appreciate it.
All right, I am sorry though. I want you to know that is man, we shouldn't have done that to you, but we had to because this is a
Yeah, no,
podcast.
it's okay.
Dave went soft.
Thank you.
I know I can't help it.
Straight softy.
She sounds so nice. All right, bye.
You went so soft.
I couldn't help it. She was just doing her
Limp
damn
noodle.
job.
Oh, I was gonna take that all the way, man.
Nothing limp about noodle. Nothing. Most of the time.
That's your dude. The Rifter just called you out.
Oh my god.
So yeah, there's cocaine in Coors. So I picked up as much as I could before the recall went into effect. I got a lot in my garage. Let me tell you. So that was the.
I will be coming over later.
Those were the quick, the
Right
very
before
quick
work.
week in reviews and the very quick in the news because we can't ignore Marc forever.
No, we can't. Actually, so let me break right into this because I know we're going to get off topic anyway. Okay, I don't sleep much. Okay, I know. So everyone's there's always, oh, you got to exercise, but you always need sleep. You need recovery. Okay, and I get that. So how important is it? Because when you're talking about like police officers, I mean, every career has it where people put in a lot of time and all that stuff. Like there's a point where I'm actually doing a lot of overtime. I'm working kind of on a pension year, blah, blah, blah. So I don't get much sleep. How important is sleep when it comes to that recovery? Because I know that I'm feeling it. Like my body, I really feel like is starting to break. Like it's, and I don't see sleep anytime in the near future. So like, tell us a little bit about like how sleep helps that, how sleep helps. Because again, so many of us work midnights and afternoons. We work the worst hours on the worst days and through holidays and all that stuff. So tell us a little bit how important how important is sleep, really? I don't think it's at all, but whatever.
I was gonna say you work midnights, right? Yeah.
Yes, I work midnights.
The short version is you're screwed, but
Yeah, right.
no.
Thanks for nothing.
This is where, I'll talk to clients and I'll sound kind of like, their parent, which is like, okay, the biggest thing to do is to have a bedtime because it is fundamentally important. It's like when we talk about metabolism, there's this fancy word we use called anabolism, which means building up. You build testosterone, right? And we all love having testosterone.
Anabolic steroids.
Exactly, yeah. Anything anabolic means building up, building bone, building muscle. And sleep is like the most anabolic activity you have. That's where, like you said, recovery is key because your body just gets the chance to repair everything, whether it's you're stressed out from arguing with your spouse, stressed out from work, stressed out from a workout. That's your body's chance to just go, okay.
Mark just revealed a little something about himself there. The first thing is like, if you're stressed out, hey, maybe it's your wife. Maybe she's stressing you the hell out, huh? Maybe you don't even know what to do, and you got to sleep it off.
At least he wasn't like, maybe you just, attack someone because they did something to make you mad, and you buried the body 40 miles outside of Wixom, and you're not sleeping very well at night. It's really important to get back on track, okay? So I'm telling you from experience, in theory, if that was me, I would want to sleep a lot.
Maybe you lift weights all day. Maybe you take your daughter to work with you and make her lift weights. Maybe you make your wife lift weights all day.
Oh, my God.
Maybe you've been served with divorce papers, and you're having a hard time sleeping. Maybe CPS came in because I had my kid at the gym all the time.
And I've been pimping her face all over the billboards all over town.
Small business is tough, guys. Small business stuff.
Yeah, you got to do what you can. So, okay. So
all right,
sleep,
I guess
put it back
sleep
on
is
track important, I guess. Okay.
So sleep is anabolic.
Sleep is the best thing that you can do. I know people go, well, what about exercise? What about exercise? But anything falls short if basically it's a lifestyle thing.
Does it, when it comes to sleep, I've tried to figure this out for myself, and I don't know that I have, but there seems to be like these zones that you can get in that you feel the best, like a certain amount of sleep, even if it's shorter versus longer, make me feel better when I wake up.
Yeah.
There's certain days like that. I don't know what all affects that. Sometimes it's like if I'm really looking forward to something, the next day, then 4.5 or 5 hours, and I could be like, I could feel normal all day. And then other times where you would get like 6.5 or 7 hours and you wake up and you just feel like garbage. Like, you said it's important to have sort of a bedtime. Like, how important is consistency with it versus getting what you can? Is there like sweet spots? Like, if you're only going to get a certain amount, is it better to get 4 hours versus 6? Or
my disclaimer: I'm not the sleep expert. The degrees are in exercise science, not sleep study research. In case anyone's going to background
doing a sleep study tonight.
Ah, crap.
Together, right?
Oh, yeah. Well, of course. Wouldn't want to do it alone.
But from what I've read, there's a journal called the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition. They said 6 hours is the minimum. When they did a meta-analysis, as they call it, which is just they look at a bunch of studies, anybody who was getting under 6 hours had just a exponential increase in obesity because it led to snacking. It messed everything up as far as their hormones. So 6 hours, they say, is like the bare minimum that you should strive for as far as just time. To answer the question about like the time zone stuff, what I've read is like at 9 p.m., your body just kind of associates daylight with activity. So like by 9, hormones start increasing that say, hey, shut everything down. Mm-hmm. And so like if you're jacked up because you're doing a podcast with me and you're all wired up, right?
You
can't sleep. You're pumped. But like they say they've had studies done where like screen time now, because everyone's got tablets and phones, that even if you at 9 p.m. you're like, I'm going to go lay down, but you lay with your tablet and watch The Office on Netflix. Yeah.
He is really vying for that job, isn't he?
But like that can just wreck it. Like even to your point, like even if you get I slept from 9 p.m. to 6 a.m., but it wasn't that deep sleep because your body saw that light, like the hormones start shutting down for sleep and all that.
Yeah. Well, last night I was in bed. I was probably laying down at like 11:30. I was like, sleep was obviously available, and there I was, like scrolling through different stuff, like, and then I looked at the phone. I was like, "Oh, dude, it was like 12:45."
So
I'm like, "Oh my
That's
goodness,
how it is
man!
for
I need
me.
to go to sleep."
Every
dude.
single night, I just look at my phone and then I look at the time. I'm like, "Whoa!" An hour goes by.
It's like you gotta reach the matrix.
Did I actually look at my phone that long, or did I time travel here?
Well, it is funny about that because like I'll get on, like I work midnights, I get off at 8 a.m. I might not even get home till 9 or 9:15. And they always talk about like the wind down time. I really do need like a wind down time, and that's usually like on some kind, like on my phone or whatever like that. Are you saying that may not be a great thing because you're or mentally you're like, oh, well, as long as your mind knows that, hey, this is the shut off time or whatever. I wonder if that has anything to do with that.
There is a really long book called The Promise of Sleep. I
read it 3 times.
I hyped that up so well, right? No, but it's written by the guy. His name was William Dement, I think, if I'm pronouncing it right. And
that's William Defoe.
And that was Boondock Saints.
Yeah, right. And then I'll look it up and I'll kick myself for getting the name wrong. But it's called The Promise of Sleep. I know that. And he would go hardcore because he's like a Harvard or Princeton grad, fancy,
one of those
smarty
guys.
pants. Yeah, right? We all know one of them.
Obama. What?
But he would go hardcore and be like, by 8 p.m., every light in the house is off.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, like warm bath. The bed should only be associated with
milk bath.
Yeah, the bed should only be associated with sleep.
Wow.
Don't read in it. Don't do homework in it. Don't don't do other things in your bed.
Wait a second. I don't like this guy at all.
Or maybe I do.
Maybe I do.
But I think to answer your question, for what I've seen, is just consistency. Like even if 12 p.m. or midnight breaks the barrier of like, well, 9 p.m. Mark said the hormones. If you're going to bed every night at 12 or at midnight, it's better than I go to bed at 9, I go to bed at 2, I go to bed at 8 p.m., I go to bed at 4. Like, it's anything else. Your body loves consistency.
Did you? I'll try to kind of like get to the question, but do you listen to the Joe Rogan podcast at all?
Here and there.
He did one with Mel Gibson and this doctor that does like this a different type of stem cell injections, to like replenish younger cells into your body and all that stuff. And it was fascinating. What fascinated me about the conversation was that it was kind of like your body's on like, it is what it is. You're on a clock, right? So it's going to devolve and refresh, by the time like you're reproducing cells so fast when you're a kid, obviously, and then in your 20s, but by the time you're 50 or 60, you've slowed so far down that the time that your cells are actually replaced is years, not a matter of days or months or whatever else. So do you feel like with the sleep thing, or let's open it up to just fitness and nutrition, like even exercising, do I only have so much in me, right? So like, does every person have like a potential and then that's it? Like they've only got so much ability to grow, to develop into what they can be, and if they're not sleeping right, they've just taken it down. Like they've lost that potential. I don't know if I'm asking this question really good.
No, it is.
He's like, well, if you're my client, then no, there's no bounds,
There's no
limitations. Sky is the limit.
With upper echelon,
we
we can
upper
actually,
echelon.
we essentially will reincarnate you into a superhuman being every time you die.
Literally every time.
And our hyperbaric chambers are in the back.
No, I will, it's interesting because I had a conversation with a client like this last night, and this client's doing awesome. He's 60 years old, and he's like squatting near 300 pounds.
He sounds hot. Just saying.
It's funny because he had a picture of him squatting almost 300, and I took it for him, and he gave it to his wife or showed it to her, and she's like, is that good? Or like she had no frame of reference to
He's like, look at these glutes, baby.
Yeah, poor guy. But
I don't know, smack here and tell me what you think.
Don't hurt your hand.
But hits him a little hard. Oh, my back.
But his thing is always kind of what you're saying is like, oh, damn. Well, can I say that or no?
Yeah, you say whatever you want.
I'm going to start swearing like an 11-year-old. No, he's like, damn it, if I would have started this when I was 20, because he looks at it like, he's 59 actually. So now he looks at it like, this was like the last best workout I've ever had in my life.
Right.
But it's, nobody comes to me in great shape because why would they need me?
Right.
So it's always that thing of like, it's this weird thing of like, they don't think they can do anything because they have that mentality. And like I have another client who lost 35 pounds and he looks like a completely different person. He's lifting weights he never thought. And it's kind of hitting him of like, well, what else can I do? So my long answer to your simple question is there's so many things. You have guys who can, that's what the client had asked me. That's when I originally tried to make my point. You have guys that everybody knows one guy who can live off of McDonald's and he's just like shredded and he's got
Right.
abs.
Yeah.
Because you've got hormones like insulin.
Myself.
Yeah,
Yes, I get it.
You've got hormones like insulin. Some guys just have naturally high testosterone. Testosterone builds muscle. It helps burn fat. So there's the genetic component and there's the lifestyle component. Guys with great genetics they just have that card, you know. But on a long enough timeline, if the lifestyle sucks,
Well, the problem is
It'll-
they're also we see that as a competition, or not so much a competition, but a comparison. So even if you have somebody who's got just great genetics, you're still put up against that person in the scope of life, right? So you're looking at somebody going, "Oh my God, that guy looks great. He doesn't even have to do anything." Blah blah blah. And then you kind of always compare it to yourself. And I think that's probably one of the problems is that so often people compare themselves with other people instead of
Versus
just
their own-
actually
their own potential.
pushing themselves, their own potential.
no, I think that's a huge thing because it's always I'll have clients that will do. You know, they'll lose 10% body fat. They'll lose 3 inches off their waist, and I'm like, "Hey, you lost 3 inches off their waist," and they're like, But then, like when somebody else notices,
Yes,
that's
yeah,
like
yeah.
the big light bulb moment for them that went off. Like, oh, okay, this is actually worth it. But I think it's kind of like the talent. What is it? I'm going to botch this saying. Talent beats hard work, or hard work beats talent when talent does. I just completely reverse my point. The hard work beats talent when talent.
Yeah.
Doesn't. It's that kind of thing of like you get the guys with the genetics, and because they've been given either the strength or the power, they were a track star or they were a running back.
Yeah.
They don't normally have, at least of the athletes I've seen and worked with, that they don't have that work ethic of the guy who's maybe got 2 kids, 3 kids, and works the line somewhere and just wants to get in great shape.
Right.
Yeah.
So there is that, I think, the lifestyle thing of like on a long enough timeline, if your diet sucks, if the lifestyle sucks, it's going to beat you up no matter how great the genetics are. It's just, when, I
Yeah.
guess would be the point.
Yeah, I found there's so much to talk about. I just found for myself, and Dave and I have had this conversation. Like I used to be able to, my weight has in my life, like I've had various periods of fluctuating. So like back, probably like late 2008, I had gotten up probably like close to 250,
Yeah.
and then I did like P90X, and I knew that I was gonna make a make a go at the police academy and all that stuff. I'm like, I gotta get in shape. Like there's no doubt about that. So I did the P90X. I did it to a T, didn't miss a day, followed the diet thing to the T. It went well. I dropped down to like 214 or 216 or something like that. So it was a really, really good thing. And it wasn't hard. I just did it, you know, right? Then I went to the police academy, and I fluctuated at some point up to like 220 again. And then I was like, oh, I need to lose some weight. And this was just like 6 years ago. And I'm like, okay. And I just like stopped eating junk, and the weight just came off. Like I never like stopped exercising altogether. So like that was always like a component, but weight would peel off so easy.
Yeah.
And then it seemed like around age 40 for me, not that that's a magic marker probably, but that's just when I noticed like anytime I was like, oh, I want to drop 6 or 7 pounds and get back down to this zone. Like I feel pretty good in the 190s is probably where I should be.
And you look great.
Thank you. Svelte. But the problem is now it's so weird. Like I had a situation recently where I was like really trying to focus to be like sub 205, and I was trying everything. I think I was like 214, 213, is what I was weighing in regularly. And I was like, I want to drop 10 pounds,
Yeah.
And I was on the mats, 4 times a week. I was eating. I did like a whole thing where for 2 weeks I was like, nothing processes coming. Like everything is going to be food. Nothing goes into the body that isn't real food. Period. I did it. Hopped on the scale. I didn't weigh myself every day or whatever else. I continued the regimen. I just did that. I felt good.
Yeah.
But I stepped on the scale, 214. I didn't lose a single pound. Nothing had changed about my exercise regimen, but everything had changed about my diet. Nothing changed about my weight. So then that was right before Thanksgiving. Go to Thanksgiving, and on Thanksgiving Day I'm just going to eat whatever the crap I want, right? So eat, drink, whatever. The next day I was like, and I just fell into this routine by schedule. I was only eating twice a day. I wasn't eating like perfectly clean like I had been up until that point. I'm just eating kind of decent, but only twice a day. And then a week later, I had dropped 8 pounds.
Yeah.
But I didn't know what to attribute it to.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is so confusing. And it just wasn't like that in my 30s. If I wanted to drop 6 pounds, 8 pounds, okay, I'll just cut out junk food and
Yeah, there it goes. Right.
add another exercise day in the week or something like that, and off I go. I lose it really easy. And now I'm like, it's a chore almost to drop weight. So that's all.
Well,
I just went on forever to explain this to you for
I
free
get
advice,
that.
basically.
'Cause
I've wrangled you into this.
He's on the couch.
Normally
He's-
people have to pay, and now I just I want it all for free.
Well, and that happened to me around the age of 40. I know I had noticed that my my metabolism, or whatever you want to call it, the ability to just lose weight whenever the hell you want to, it was going away. And at 40, I ended up getting forced to noons for 6 months, and it screwed me up really, really bad. So I hadn't changed anything. But I was like that. It was like no matter what I did, it's almost like every once in a while it's just like this wall comes up. It was like, nope, I don't care what you try. I don't care what you do. It's not going to happen. So is that actually a thing? Like where like your body just goes, not so fast, loser. Because I feel like people call me a loser all the time. So
Even your own body.
yeah, all the time.
Even people who listen to the podcast. Like, hey, loser. When's that next
Especially
podcast?
people.
Everybody's gonna snap him. Hey, loser.
Hey, loser.
No, it is. You've got, I think, two big issues, which is like at the age of 30, it's like the whole, if you're not using it, you lose it. Like at starting at 30, you lose 1% of muscle per year if you're not using it.
Wow.
Which you're the first person I ever say, because most people are like, big deal, 1%. But per decade, it's shown to show like a decline of like almost 10% in your
huge.
metabolism.
Yeah,
it adds up.
huge.
So you have that. Secondly,
Wait. Wow! There you go.
You
There
just
you go.
superseded his response. Now you
That's
have
all I
the
was trying
best.
to
You
do.
have the
Can
best
we get an
response.
Thank you.
Can we get an unbelievable drop, like a shocked drop here?
Wait, it's got
What
to
is
be
he
Michael
doing?
Scott. No!
Yeah, come on. Okay, he's slacking over there. What? I think he's
I know.
playing.
He's not even trying anymore.
I think he's playing like Snake
Mahjong.
Mahjong on the Windows.
Wow.
That's all right.
Well, okay, all right.
I think he's being a little spiteful,
No,
guys.
I think
I
that's
think
what
he's
he's
being a
doing
little
now.
spiteful over
No,
there.
it's the video where the guy like pops up and he winks and he says, "Wow." Do you know what that is?
No.
Oh God, it's getting worse for him.
Actually,
Hey, Mark, what are you
that's
doing
really
next
funny.
week?
I'm just like, hey, let me.
Wednesdays around 3 look like for you.
Sorry, Mark. Go ahead.
No, but so we're losing 1% per year. But the second thing is like people, like you're saying, you're coming down to 214 from 250. It's like your body is always trying to adapt to what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of like it is trying to trick you and kind of being like a jerk and saying, I'm being very PG with my words here now.
You don't.
It's
You
just-
don't have to. I can
You're
assure
good.
you.
You're good.
Well, I was just gonna say something else.
This
I'm
is
like,
bullshit. There you go. I helped you out on that.
we walk around the house now, like, because our 2-year-old, and we're
Oh,
like, you
yeah.
know, get your tushy off the couch, like to my wife, or she says it to me, like we can't say these words anymore.
But she always calls yours
At least
the
you don't
sweet
spell like
hiney.
a dog. Like take the dog O-U-T. Okay.
I'll do that.
Like a-
W-I-F-E.
A client's coming out of a squat, and he's like, oh, and I'm like, do you have a boo-boo? Like, I'm just already like, and he's like, what the hell?
You ever kissed a client? Oh, sorry. Wait, what's going
Gets a
on?
gets
Spider-Man
weird.
Band-Aid.
I'm about ready to take you to the upper echelon.
Yeah, right. But you go, like your body, if you go to the well one too many times of the same thing, your body just goes, yeah, I get it, big deal. Like it just kind of knows. Like you see it in another realm, you see it with pro bodybuilders all the time. Like people make fun of Arnold, like when he was like past
Never
40.
make fun of him.
Yeah, right. There was like a famous picture of him, I think, in a Speedo. and he
Yeah,
just
right.
Was pouring over it.
I'll have to. I'll have to commandeer that.
But like now that's an extreme example because I think he's like a cigar head and all those other things. But like just in the sense of like these guys will do like 12 to 13 hours of training a week, and it's so stressful that they use this term called metabolic damage, to where like you mess with your thyroid gland, you mess with your testosterone. It's all exercise is all about trying to maintain good hormones.
So
That's all it is.
I guess at the end of the day, from a practical standpoint, should I be looking at the way that I exercise and intake food as a long-term play, or should I do something to shock the system? So because it's really popular for like, you know, they don't call it the Atkins diet anymore, but like keto is like really popular, right? Where you do something where it's like this 2-week phase of dropping the hammer and like, okay, I'm cutting out carbs almost completely and then I'll work them back in? Or do I just look and say like, you know what? I want to eat food. You know, I want to eat a lot of fruits and vegetables and good lean meats or whatever. Just eat good food, not a lot of crap, and just say I need to be disciplined over the long haul for my body. Or at this point in my life, do I need that shock to the system? Do I need to do something drastic that is temporary to do something to shake things up, I guess? Not to be confused with the shake weight.
Yeah, right.
Do you have those in your gym?
No. I was going to say, just buy one of those.
I have some at home.
Just buy one of those and you're all set.
You can't let the secret out of the bag.
There goes the
Work
sessions.
yourself out of a job.
No, clients sometimes don't like this advice because everybody wants like the instant, like, well, just what do I do for like 3 weeks to get me ripped or just to kickstart it? But like the non-sexy advice is just do the consistent thing,
Right.
which is unless you're getting paid to have your shirt off and be on a magazine cover or
Thank
step on
you.
stage,
And
Which
I
is
am.
which is us.
Yeah.
you know, exactly right.
Obviously, it's us.
Why disrupt the lifestyle to do anything extreme? And we always see like the magazine ads or now clickbait or whatever with like the
Right.
whole the extreme supplement, the extreme workout. It's like, well, if you're not getting paid to look good, why not just kind of work out when you need to and eat right and consistently see that? The point being though is to always stay ahead of the adaptation. So the idea like even if you follow like the keto, the Atkins, the whatever, the zone, your body is eventually going to adapt to it.
Mm-hmm.
What I like to do with clients is the last thing I want to do is cut calories because it's just a stress. It's a pain in the ass. Who wants to eat less food, to be honest with you? I know everyone's like, what the hell is this guy talking about?
Right.
Don't eat less food.
I like where this is going. I'm not gonna lie.
I know. Eat more donuts. I
Hey,
get it.
can you go out and get some Cheetos real quick there, unpaid producer? Just bring them back.
We need calories.
A lot of Cheetos.
Wait, what was the story about running to CVS? Wasn't that like
Oh my God.
Do you wanna go?
We can get on that.
I can say it, but when I was going for, because when I work out, at least for me, what works for me and has always worked is I go for 2 to 4 mile runs every morning during the week, and then I just take a break on the weekend, and I don't eat any like nutty bars and all that. Like, like zebra cakes?
Well, it's
Zebra-
tough. I guess
Debbie.
it's tough for guys like us. 'cause
Basically,
I'm-
as long as he doesn't eat middle school junk food.
Well, right.
Yeah, if I don't eat like packaged junk food, I'm fine, and
Well,
I could still eat like crap, and I'd
yeah,
still
but you're
be
like,
fine. But I'm younger.
I was gonna say, but you're younger, like, and I'm 21, and so we share a lot of that.
We
same
all know
stuff.
that's a lie.
Hey, it's getting a little warm in here. Can we cue up? The song we've been playing every few weeks?
Oh yeah, because
The,
it is getting little
Marvin Gaye
little
song or
warm
whatever.
here.
What's that?
Oh jeez, you know what?
I'm
I
blanking
don't-
today.
this
Today's
guy-
been a long
yeah,
day.
Is Mark putting a lot of pressure on you? Because I can see
Today's
that.
been a long day.
This was your moment to shine, and
I
Mark
know.
just crushed you with his
He
presence.
just crushed you.
That was
I'm-
right after the whole I run and I'm just fine. That's after that comment.
And Mark's looking at him very disappointed.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
Oh God, take it off.
It's a
Oh,
little
Mike,
warm. It's
get
a little warm in
comfy.
here.
Take it off. Show
For
the
for
guts
those
off.
that are only listening to the podcast, my hoodie's coming off right now.
Yeah,
Nothing
it is.
else. Just my hoodie. I mean, I'm pantsless,
No,
but that's always the
he
case.
literally has nothing else on. Which is, I didn't even notice he wasn't wearing pants until now.
But no, the whole CVS story is that my sister, who I live with, needed a journal to write for work, whatever. And so I just ran. I ran to CVS and picked it up and just ran back.
Stop. And so
in his Freddy
explain-
Krueger outfit.
Yeah,
Wait, what?
explain what happened because the way you look, like you have this this pad of paper and you're like all sweaty and CVS.
Oh
or whatever.
yeah,
that's what.
So I was
that's
like
really what got
super-
us.
I was so sweaty and like I had this hoodie on. My hair was messed up and I like had to blow my nose. I was like, ugh. And so I just walked in, and this lady is just standing there looking at me like I'm crazy because I have like my hood up and I walk
Like, why
into a
is he-
CVS.
Why is Creepy McCreepin over here all
What's he
sweaty?
gonna
with
steal? Wait, he's buying a notebook? What's wrong with these millennials?
How far is
Yeah.
the CVS?
It's like a mile.
Mile one way.
Yeah, mile one way.
And you should go
then-
from here and just.
No.
I'm fascinated by this story. Sorry,
I know, it's just
got-
hilarious. We just gave him so much shit for no reason. I mean, for all the reasons.
But no, what I do is I usually queue up a podcast and I run for 2 miles, but I haven't ran in a long time.
It happens.
Well, that's.
Yeah,
But that's.
I fell off of it. If I stay consistent with it,
Well,
then
that's.
I'm usually good. But
You have, and like some clients will. I have a gentleman who came in this morning. He's lost 35 pounds, and his workouts are getting really aggressive. And now I'm kind
Ooh, I
of
like
saying
the sound
like,
of that.
yeah, right. And people always go, "Oh, it gets easier, right?" Because
Nobody
you're
makes me
better."
bleed my own blood.
Exactly.
Nobody.
But like,
Here at Globo, I mean Echelon.
but the thing is, like, he wants to lose about 10 more, and it's like, well, your body's gonna fight you on those last 10 because he's lost 35 to begin with, which is a huge amount of weight.
So
to
he's
lose.
already kind of getting down to that fighting weight. You know what I mean? Like that weight
now-
that he's looking
Yeah,
for.
and now that's the thing of where he goes, well, and he was all serious. He's like, well, what about maintaining? And it's like, in the case for the underpaid, the co-underpaid producer,
The newly
So he's saying he fell off. If he goes back to running, that works for him. The body's going to go, oh, and especially, can I ask how old you are? Or,
I'm 19.
Yeah, I mean, the body's just going to strip it right off.
No, you can't. You can't ask how old I am. It's very personal.
It's not polite to ask producers, underpaid producers, how old they are.
Co-underpaid producers. Assistant to co-underpaid producer.
So then, and to kind of go along with what you're saying, what I always tell people is there is, in a way, because we're all beautiful, unique snowflakes, right? Everything, what responds to you might not respond to me, you know.
Yeah.
But I always tell people, you can try it, but how do you measure it? Like in that case of like just a simple weigh-in, are you measuring your waist, or you can go hardcore and get your blood checked if you wanted to look at the hormones and go really all out. But like when you reach that moment of like the 214, what do you do? Do you decide, like the client who's like, well, maybe I should just maintain this right now, or
Interesting.
what do we need to do now to, because the body event, that's all stress, or that's all exercise is the body saying this is a stress. I adapt by building muscle. I adapt by making the heart stronger, pumping more blood.
Yeah.
Excuse me. You know, give it a reason to change, whether it's diet or training, if you want.
Now
to
you
see
were
further
saying
change.
not to cut calories, and obviously everything's got its limits. That doesn't mean to eat the whole bag of Cheetos, that kind of a thing.
I can eat all the food I want then.
Yeah, right.
I heard it here
Loophole.
first.
That's all I heard.
A year later, I'm like just
Cuts
huge
out
on the
that-
couch, like
cuts out
this
the
body
3
came
seconds.
from Echelon. Yeah, like could you please stop
Body.
tagging me in any photo you're in?
Courtesy. Echelon.
I'm dead sexy.
Can I get a written testimonial, please?
Well, can I just say something just real quick? So what you're really saying is that when we put these kind of limitations, like, oh, I'm at 214, but I want to be here, there's kind of no real actual end to that. Because if I were to say, well, I want to get down to 195, but what does that really mean? So I get down to 195, whether it's healthy or not healthy. So what happens after that? So basically, all I've done was I've set a limit. I've set a roof up, and I haven't really kind of looked past that. Where with health, with a lifestyle change, right? What we're talking about is maintaining for your entire life, whether that means ramping up exercise or cutting it back, or just eating right in the first place, right? I mean, is that really kind of where we're really at there? Instead of the fat, because there's always a fad diet going on, and they're great for a short amount of time, but you're always going to fall right back into what you were doing before. So you can do what you want for a month, you can do what you want for 2 months, but in the end, it's going to go, and you're gonna gain that 10 or 15 pounds back. You know?
Yeah, to kind of go along with the two of them, like, okay, because someone could be listening and saying, this guy said don't ever cut calories. Like, so 500 calories is not created equal. Like,
Right.
So obviously 500 calories from a lean chicken breast is different than the 500 calories in a jar of M&Ms or whatever.
Yeah.
M&Ms.
So to kind of go along with that, like, that's
all I heard was M&Ms.
to where if the diet's really bad, like if the diet is fast food all day, if the diet is energy drinks, and the diet is candy.
Damn it.
Yeah, right. No, I'm just totally.
Damn you, Mark.
I'm just bumming everybody. I bummed the producer out. Now I'm bumming
Get
Dave
the
out.
hell out. Now I want you out.
But we swap
Don't
all
unplug
that.
the cord again on your way out.
I've got the record for the best response from the 1%. SMS and I unplugged the cord and turned all the lights off. But no, when we replace all of that, like, okay, so we replace the candy with protein. The biggest thing that I'll retrace my steps here. The 3 biggest things that I do with clients when they come to me, and we do a full assessment, body fat testing. I do that every 2 weeks, et cetera, is the 3 things that I've seen in 4 years of being at the studio is people eat really low amounts of protein because it's a pain in the ass to make protein. Who wants to sit there and, grill burgers all day and all that? They have no fiber intake and what we call like essential fatty acids. Like when people say eat fish because of the fat, we're talking basically omega-3 fats, like the stuff in flaxseed oil or fish oil. Those are the big 3. When you fix those, rather than just, I'm going to cut calories and deprive and be miserable, those are ideally when I see the most changes in a client, because usually a client, it takes about 2 weeks to get there as far as just meeting with them, getting to show them that I'm not some crazy food Nazi and I'm kind of normal, and then they'll trust me, and it's like, okay, let's start having, you know, some Greek yogurt for breakfast and bring a chicken breast to lunch and buy a fish oil supplement. That's when we see the weight come down, and what we also see performance in the gym go up. They start getting stronger. They can row faster. They can sprint farther.
How much comparatively, like flaxseed, I can put that in a smoothie or whatever else, and that's good, or in yogurt or something like that. How much comparatively of flaxseed do you need versus fish oil if you're supplementing?
To save the budget so it doesn't get nuts, I always tell people just do flaxseed oil. It's less potent than fish oil, but do the actual oil, because like to get the quantity that you need, just do the liquid. Are you talking about the oil or the actual seeds? Like
I actually put flax seeds
I would
in stuff.
I would do that because they'll have the fiber, but like a shot, like a tablespoon, if you can just like hardcore plug your nose and do it, or mix it into a smoothie. Every client can do. They make fun of me because they can do it like that, and I'm like, I can't. I have to. And they're like, oh, you can squat and do all this, but you can't take some
Sugar makes the flaxseed go down.
I have these two clients, and they're like, yeah, I just take it in the morning. I wake up and boom, and I'm like, oh my, how do you do it? Like, just so.
Yeah, that's.
But if you can mix it in a smoothie, I use it to make like a salad dressing. But like the oil, because it's going to have a substantial amount of that type of fat, that's going to help the metabolism. But I would not stop doing the flax seeds themselves, if that answers the question. And if you have the money for it, do fish oil, but do oil over capsules. Capsules will work, but they'll take longer to work.
I got you.
But still better than nothing.
Yeah, and I mean, at the end of the day, something is always better than nothing. If it's run or sit on the couch, go run. I mean, we could argue.
Oh, come on now, Mark. Jesus.
I know. We could argue. I can argue the merits of different types of exercise, because all exercise is not created equal. But like, something's better than nothing.
Well, can I? Okay, so when you talk about like that intake of calories, I have been on a regimen. When I was training for the Worlds, I was on a regimen of carbs, fat, protein, and I was only allowed a certain amount of each, and I stuck to it to almost a T. As a matter of fact, it was too much food for me to intake.
Yeah,
it was actually too much. And all I did was increase, I think, my workout maybe like 1.5. So like I would train an extra day and a half. And I lost a lot of weight, and it was good. It was, but nowadays not that I couldn't still do that, obviously, but again, it was a lot of food for me. It was a lot. So you can actually eat a ton of food and still drop weight. There's no doubt about it.
Right.
But like for me, I actually have an app where it gives me a certain amount of calories. Oh, you can lose this much, which we all know it doesn't work like that.
It's not exactly one for one.
Right, it doesn't work.
Not
like
all
that.
Calories are created equal.
Right, exactly, right. And so I'm
so
fine with.
So racist.
You lose 1%. No, okay. So I use this app, and I've actually
calories and M&Ms are like, that's racist.
This is ridiculous. So
they're marching out in protest.
I have
right now.
literally logged
March
into
for M&Ms.
this app.
April.
Mike, this is important
in DC.
here. We need Mike.
Sorry, I got distracted.
Damn it, Mike. Over 175 days in a row, because it keeps me at least accountable for what I eat. So even though like it's at like 2,000 calories or whatever, and so I might have a couple chips or whatever, but you eat too many chips, you can't actually eat for the rest of the day. You're in trouble. So it actually keeps me accountable for the guilty pleasures that you might want to eat, and you go, look, okay, I got 400 calories left here or whatever. I'm going to have a chicken breast, or I'm going to have oatmeal instead, and it helps me out. Would you say like, okay, that's fine. I mean, if that worked for you, good, I mean, but I did find out on that, because it gives you like this weekly report, that you're right. Surprising, Mark. My protein intake is half of what my carbs and fat are.
Carbs are everywhere, man.
I could not believe it. So I've made a huge point, because of the app, to start eating way more like chicken in place of. So I'm replacing some of the things that are easy for me to eat, because again, I work midnights. There's nothing really open. So I'm telling you, my diet consists of freaking granola bars. Like that's like my thing, because it's like, oh, okay, I can eat that, or like the light string cheese or whatever that I don't eat the way people want me to.
You chomp it?
I chomp it every time. As a matter of fact, I might even eat it in 2 bites. I just eat it to eat it, because I try not to make a habit of loving food, and you certainly can't make a habit of loving light cheese, even if it's string. But
I like the experience. Just it takes a little bit longer to eat it all. You know.
Would. So
I'm a peeler. I'm a peeler, not a chomper.
I can't help myself. Can't help it. So I guess I kind of like think about it, because I'm not the only one in this boat, especially on midnights, where there's just a select amount of stuff that you can eat. A granola bar. If I'm busy, a granola bar, like you'll look back and go, oh man, I'm starving. I have to eat something. And a granola bar or something is like the easiest thing, or like a thing of cheese, or an apple. Like I bring an apple or a banana and that kind of stuff, which is, that's fine. But again, you're right, man. My protein was half of everything else. I'm like, I got to start changing that. Maybe bring more chicken breast and like less granola bar, so I can chew on that. What do you think about that? Because that is like my life.
Granola bars.
It literally 42,000 calories a week.
No, I think like what I try to work with on clients, and it's way easier said than done, is because again, people hear the thing of like, don't count calories or don't cut. And Mark said, eat whatever you want. No, I didn't say that. But like
that's what I heard.
Like appetite and hunger cues. So like your brain and your gut have about a 20-minute lag between them. So like you see like the guys who can do like the wingding, the endless wingding competition, or the hot dog. Like
delicious.
The brain never
competitive eaters.
Yes, thank you. There's the word I'm looking for. Like it's just the brain.
Did you call them wingdings? Pretty sure
you guys have those blazing wingdings
over at Wingdings,
Buffalo Wild Wings.
But the brain.
You've never had a wingding, have you?
No, a wingding.
No wingdings worship at your temple.
I mentioned the Culver story to a client. He was like, "You have Culvers?" And I was like, "Yeah, Culvers. I've had pizza."
Enjoy something every once in a while.
I get way off topic here, but I remember
I had pizza that one time. It was delicious. It was vegan organic pineapple. Wait, what?
I was working at a different place when my wife and I popped the question and we were engaged, and I mentioned clients like, "Oh yeah, I have a fiance now," and like it was amazing because they would look at me like, "Oh, you're this trainer," and they'd be like, "You're gonna let her have some pizza once in a while?"
Oh my god!
You're gonna have any wedding cake?
I thought I was gonna go in a different direction. Like, oh my god, I thought you were gay.
Oh, what's his name? No, it's not my.
No, it's
no, I'm straight.
I don't know. I guess I'm confused.
There was that too. Like she came up and kissed me, and they were like, "Oh, I guess I was wrong about that." But
well, I quit. I'm revoking my membership. Don't stand a chance anymore.
But people will talk about, "Oh, I'm stuffed now," and it's like, well, you basically ate too fast. One thing I tell clients is chew slow, and it sounds like, again, I sound like a parent, like I'm so boring with this advice, but your brain needs information, time to process.
Yeah.
What are you eating? Because then it can send the hormones to the stomach of like, hey, shut everything down. This guy's full. But again, all calories aren't created equal. The granola bar, which could have like the syrups in it and some sugar, now the signals doesn't matter how slow you chew, the brain just says, I'm not full, I'm not.
Right.
Keep eating. So as opposed to
it's got a bunch of like addicts up in the brain. Like, oh, this is great. It's party time.
Take it.
Everybody, tell them to keep going.
Yeah, but then like on top of that too, like if you had, a pork chop with some vegetables, and 45 minutes later you're still hungry, you probably didn't eat enough. And now the question is, like,
now what am I going to do?
Now you go, but then and it sounds so neurotic, I know, but if you're doing something to measure, whether you're weighing yourself once a day, don't do it any more than that. You'll drive yourself nuts. But if you're measuring your waist, whatever you're using to see, okay, is what I'm doing working?
Yeah.
Now you can say, hey, you know what? One pork chop's not enough. Add another half. And if you're doing that and weighing yourself and all that, then you have something to gauge it off of.
But you got to have some type of like standard or measurable to know, is this working or is this not working?
Yeah, I mean, you get people who say, and no offense to them, but they say like, well, I just want to feel good. Well, it's like, well, you could buy a TV, you could go on a trip, you could go steal a cop car and go blazing.
Yeah, you could.
Yeah, you could.
Like, or you could work
That'll
out,
make
like,
you feel alive real quick.
Like I always tell people, if you can be specific and not neurotic, don't weigh yourself 10 times a day, because people look at me and they're like, how many times do you check your body fat? I'm like, never. Like, but
never.
If you
every
have
day.
It's like that's like, it's
60% of the time I do it all the time.
Would you go to work without knowing what your salary is? Probably not. It's like the same thing. Just gauge. Well, and anyway, I was thinking about the underpaid producer.
Sorry.
No, but like, what are you using for your gauge? Is it working? Don't change a thing. If it's not working and you're miserable, lots of things have to change.
So I want to get to a couple of other questions about the actual working out, but I think there's like an in between here. So like we talk about like all the foods that we should be having or how to kind of gauge that, but what's your experience when it comes to motivation? I did a video recently on YouTube where I said like, I don't remember what the title was, but basically calling out like overweight, out of shape cops.
I think it was like titled like fat cops or something like that.
It's kind of like, listen, like, I'm trying to tell them, I think I don't know, things shut down in our head that we lie to ourselves, basically, right? Or we want 3 or 4 things, but in reality, we're prioritizing them differently. I may want to be in shape, but I also want the feeling that, getting a big bag of Cool Ranch Doritos and drinking a gallon of soda gives me. So I'm not lying necessarily when I say I want to be in better shape.
Yeah.
But where I'm fooling myself is that on the list of all the things that I do want, that's just further down the list. And we got to get real with ourselves about how to put it at the top, right? So, and it's what's crazy is cops that it happens like that. I don't know. I'm trying to understand a little bit about the psychology behind this because, like, you should be motivated to, when we see the number of cops killed in the line of duty, or when we see the number of fights that happen, or like all these things that are unexpected but should be expected in this line of work. Yet you still let yourself go. You still put yourself in a position to where you are literally making it harder for you to get home to your family. Yeah. You are literally making it harder for you to be the kind of person to help somebody to go home. Like, where does that come from? So I'm thinking about it in those terms, but really for anybody, when it comes to motivation, like you said, it takes discipline, motivation, and everybody wants the results, but it's like playing a music. A good band started learning how to play a note. And being disciplined to practice to get there. So like now they can, do all kinds of crazy things on the fly because they've learned, they've been disciplined. So now they can kind of do what they want. So where does that come from in your experience? How can people find motivation to be the best them, not comparing themselves to other people, but how can they find that internal motivation to make these kind of changes? What, in your experience, what has worked?
And also with that, the addiction to food as well, because I feel like they kind of might play, together.
It's funny you guys mention all this stuff because, like, I'm always trying to learn more about the body, but like there's this field called change psychology, which is just really interesting to me, and it talks a lot. Like, how come some people can just do amazing things and other people can't, whether they beat themselves up or the confidence or the motivation. When I find, like, fitness is the one thing I think with people, like, there's just no patience for it. And again, it sounds boring, like in the sense of, well, why do I need to be patient? I want it now. I want to lose the 30 pounds now. But when people want it, like, we all have seen the story of the guy who just is like, screw it, no more processed food, no more, like you said, no processed food for 2 weeks, right?
Yeah.
And eventually it started creeping back in slowly and here and there, right?
Right. Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure.
Because
no doubt about it. It was more of an experiment to see, will this help my body lose weight?
Well, it's funny because Marc is in literally the business that we are, meaning Marc is in a business where people don't want to hear the truth at all.
Yes.
They don't want to hear the truth, but at least they've like succumbed to like the fine, I'll do it. But the only difference is he actually sees people happy in the end.
Yeah. But
and he can actually help them.
Somebody says, I'm going to lose 40 pounds. And like they do the whole, I'm going to the gym 4 times a week. I'm cutting out all the crap. I'm never going to have pizza. That's problem number one, is like you can't eliminate.
Right.
The people that can do that are the exception, not the rule.
Yeah.
Secondly, like when people want to change, they have no plan. People will say, I want to lose, we all want to look great. We all want to lose weight, whatever. We all want $1 million. The question is, what are the behaviors that will get you there?
Yeah.
And again, the consistency is the key. Again, the extreme diets or just, I'm going to try this for a few weeks. Something different, something that you think is fun, by all means, go for it.
Yeah.
But with clients, when you see like the success stories that I'm very grateful to have with our clients as far as the before and after pictures, it's always been, let's change one thing per week. Every client has a homework assignment for a week, and people go, that's boring. But literally by the end of 3 months, you've changed 12 things at a minimum in your life, and you've grown accustomed to it because we're all creatures of habit. Some of us have really good habits. Some of us have really
Well, that
bad
sounds like
habits.
it allows you to have like little wins.
Yeah.
Too, right? So like I'm doing related in some sense, like I'm doing this financial peace course right now where despite the fact that I don't even have a credit card. So that's not an issue, but you get in. But I have other
You
questions
have that
about
one
the
for
future.
your 900 numbers.
Oh, well, I make money on that credit card.
Oh, that's right.
They pay to me. I just hide the money on that credit card.
Wait a minute, I'm still out of it. Do they still have 900 numbers? Or am
I don't know.
I have no idea.
Whoever's
Wait.
database
Good
sucks.
question.
Do they?
Do they have
Look at the
900 numbers?
underpaid producer. Do they? He's like, yes.
Hi.
Wait, he's
Hi.
pretending to type
I
right
wanna
now. He
talk.
doesn't.
I want to
He's
talk
like- he's
to
like,
you.
Yes. No?
No.
I'm Dionne Warwick, and I'll tell your
Oh,
future.
yeah.
What was I saying?
Yeah, in 2012, December 24, this is an announcement. 2012, Verizon announces end of 900 number billing.
Wow.
At least we're not old.
That ended 5 years ago. The late night 900 commercials.
And I was like an 8th grader when that happened.
Oh, good Lord. Here we go.
The internet has changed everything. We were talking about what?
I think I might be able to get you back on track. I'll try. Because I think
Thanks.
you were saying
Not
you
easy.
didn't have a credit card and you.
Oh,
yeah.
what I was saying was, so there's 7 steps.
See, he actually listens to you.
Thank you.
I definitely don't.
Definitely don't. There's 7 steps. So like step 1 is do whatever it takes to get $1,000 in the bank in your savings account. Like that's step 1. And then like they gave you a quick budget sheet and fill this out. No matter what's going on in your life, look at a month of what you spent and put it in these boxes, right?
Yeah.
Like just do that. Nothing else. Like the whole thing is I want to be, financially independent and I want to be this. Like you have these big grandiose ideas about where you want to be and they're like, "Okay, it starts here. Do these steps one thing at a time." So but it gives you little wins.
Yeah.
When you see that, "Oh, okay, I did it. I went ahead and sold that on eBay, or I did this and I got the $1,000. Boom. I win. I've taken a step toward that, and that transformation doesn't happen instantly.
Yeah.
Like that. But our culture pushes us toward, in 30 days, your whole life is going to be better instantly. or
It's
whatever.
always the extreme thing. There's a good book called The Upside of Irrationality, and it's got his guy. I've never even heard of this field. It's behavioral economics, like why we spend, why does an ad work one way with one person, and but he talked about kind of like that. He talked about for people to get rid of debt. I forgot the name of the guy who helps people. He's an agent, a CPA or something, but he looks at your financial statement, and the smallest debt you owe is the first thing you pay off because it's that.
Yeah, it's Snowball
little
thing.
video.
It's
Yeah.
Dave Ramsey is the guy that this course that I'm going through, but it's the debt snowball. You take the smallest one and you pay that off, and then you take what you would have paid on that and you add it to that one.
And people are like, I got 80 grand in school loans, jerk. Like what? But it's like, but it's the thing of like, now you just scratch that one off. And it's
Right.
like, it's the same thing. You did a week of taking.
Yeah, but do you want to be out of debt when you're 50, or do you want to be out of debt never?
And it's like, it's the idea of like, you just, okay, you did a week of making, of taking your fish oil once a day. 7 days later, you're better than where
All of a sudden you can look back and you can have built these habits into your life.
Yeah, there's all I do is watch Toy Story and read research all day. But there's a journal article called the Journal of Experimental Social Psychology, I think. But they talked about actually willpower.
This guy's a learned man.
Yes.
He really takes his
a
business
house of
seriously.
learned doctors.
Way more seriously than I thought. I'm not sure.
You guys have seen Step Brothers?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I walk around, like, the house was built in 1863 by General Custer. My wife's like, will you shut up with that stupid line? But, no, but they actually, you have this, everyone's familiar with fight or flight. Like, that's basically, adrenaline kicking in, or you're at rest and digest. You're chilled out, or you're...
House of learned doctors.
And
It's like, are you done?
I was making a really, really, really important point. I sounded really smart for a second. No, but like they saw that like when you do something that basically you hate, you don't want to do, whether it's work out, whether it's pay your debt off, whether it's go to work, that actually your fight or flight system kicks in because you're forcing yourself to do stuff you don't want to do. So again, it's like if you hate working out, is that 30-day boot camp gonna work. If it does, great. But then my question would be: is what happens after 30 days?
You have to have a bigger motivation. You have to find, and maybe that's it. Like you have to find what that trigger is for you that makes you want to do it. Like you have to like, if you know, and you see it in sometimes like somebody you love would like die of a heart attack or something, and then all of a sudden you're like, I don't want to put my kids in the position that they put me or something like. So I'm gonna take care of myself to keep my heart healthy as best I can. Like, it's never gonna come back on me. You know, I'm gonna do what I can do. So I mean, and you got to keep that out in front of you.
Yeah, every client like has it sounds kind of corny, but every client has like that story. The guy who lost 35 pounds, he has a 6-year-old daughter now, and he came I think in like August or July to the studio, but it was just like she's starting school. Like, I don't want to be the parent who can't play with this kid, and he was like really serious about it. And it's just like that's his kick, that's his whatever. I have another client who she has both knees replaced. And it's like, she's like, I saw the people who had the knee replaced and didn't do anything after having the knee replaced. I don't want to be like that.
Yeah.
I've had a 19-year-old come to me who wants big arms because he thought he wanted, to be big, but he wants a girlfriend.
Swole.
But
Swole.
But
like to be invited to the gun show.
Yeah, exactly. But like when you're talking to him, he's like, oh, and it was like a serious, like he's like, I want a girlfriend, but it's like now he's 19, he thinks big arms will get a girl.
Yeah.
The reason beneath
it's
the reason beneath the reason.
Yeah.
Right. We all have those in life. So like, that's true of when we make mistakes or when we do good things. There's a reason beneath the reason. I don't go. People don't exercise. Maybe there are people who exercise only because they really like exercise. I mean, I guess so. It's not a perfect example.
You might be talking about me, maybe.
Nerd. But we do things. We do things because we want something bigger or different on the other side of that.
Yeah.
And it's a means to an end.
For me, I mean, graduating. If you have like sappy piano music to play in the background, you could do that.
All right. He can. I think he can do that.
From the original Hulk series.
No.
Oh. There was a great piano.
Yeah. When he's thinking about his wife or whatever.
He's like, doo, 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 doo.
I should have known by that X-Men shirt that you guys are comic bros.
Did you see the preview for Avengers?
Oh my!
Don't
We're going.
get
We
me
already have our
started.
tickets bought. Actually,
I have 2 nephews. They're 10 and 8. Yeah, like that. I'll get back to my story here. They're 10 and 8.
What were you saying there, buddy? Why keep it going?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll go back. So as a guy who graduated high school, like 125, 130, to be like 195 today.
You
like,
were not swole.
I was not. A strong wind would have blew me over. But it's just the idea of like, okay, like it's not, I want to be 60 pounds bigger. It's that confidence. And no, I certainly didn't have confidence. I don't think I have a lot of confidence right now, but I have more than when I was 18.
You already got a job on the podcast in less than an hour.
Pretty impressive.
One man's dream.
To become an assistant to the co-producer. Underpaid.
He's going to get pissed and he's going to be like, race to CVS right now. And just take off.
I know you can see him. It looks like from Terminator. The cop just swishing down the way.
One thing for me, though, one of my struggles is that since I'm underpaid, I don't. Is there like a way to buy healthy food cheap?
Oh, that's a
'Cause I'm not good
that's
at
a
that.
great question.
I'm not good at
That's
that
a
because
huge-
I
that's a
find
huge
myself
thing,
like
actually.
I'll be at work here and I'll be editing. I'm like, I can just go get fast food because that's
Yes.
cheaper than going out and buying a bunch of different food that I have to make. And like meal prep, how important is meal prep? And
that leads
Yeah,
to a
they're
big
cheap
That's
ways
just
to
never going to
get it.
happen. I will never be. I see people like on
Oh,
Instagram,
yeah.
of course, like living their fake Instagram lives.
well, I have enough time. I have enough time to do meal prep. Like I could do it if I
would never
really
do it.
pushed myself.
But see, that leads to the bigger thing is when we're younger, we can eat anything. And we get into these ridiculous freaking habits of being able to just eat
That's
whatever
what I'm
the
saying,
hell we
because
want,
I'm
and
getting
then
to
it
the
just
point
punches
where
us in the face.
I'm getting to the point where I don't do enough like working out, and I need to start watching what I eat because I'm just starting to gain weight. Like I was fine for a little while, but now it's starting to show. Like you can start seeing my gut.
I think you look wonderful.
Me too.
Hey, you know what? I feel like I have an idea.
What's that?
Do you want to wrap this one up and do a part 2, like right after? Like we just keep going,
Can we do that?
but we stretch people.
Yeah, where are
out.
we at right now?
Oh, we're at an hour 20.
So
Wow.
yeah, can we annoy? Can
we
we
keep going for a little bit, Mark? You okay with
got
that?
time?
Go to part 2?
Is part 2 another hour?
No.
Wait, whatever the hell you want to do.
I'm calling all the shots.
Wait, I turned the music off. We haven't even decided yet. Don't take us out. No, we can't come back.
He's like,
Then we're back.
That was hard.
This has been a long week for those that have been waiting for part
man.
2.
Just a long week.
And this will be one of the shortest podcasts we've had in history.
And it was only like
Yes.
5. It was like a minute for us.
Well,
minute long. wait.
Do we have anything for the week in review?
The best part is
Nope.
he literally said something that was a really good.
Is the freaking in review.
His laugh. He's like.
Because
do
he
you-
brings
do-
up a
do
good
we have
point.
anything?
He bring up no. Not
Well,
since-
but
you know
they've
what,
been waiting
you know
a week for
My-
they've been waiting
my
a week
week-
for this episode,
my-
but we literally have just
My
played
week
music
in
in
review
between.
is that I was sick. And I've been bedridden all week, so
Bedridden. I've seen you out and about every day.
I've been out and about every day. I
so
felt like
this
crap
is
this
in
week.
Yeah, I guess mine is that I heard that this week that underpaid producer was going to actually exercise. We know that probably didn't happen. It's been a week, and and also that Marc was going to be back for this 30
We
minute
brought
segment.
Marc back, right back into the studio. In fact, the chair was still warm because he never got up.
That's right.
This is really
They didn't even give me a pee break.
this is an
ridiculous.
unprecedented part 2
Well, also
in that literally
also
we
he seriously brought up a really good point about like the cost of food and blah blah
That's
blah,
what he
and then just freaking left. He's like, "Okay, I'm gonna cut it now."
well I posed a question, which
you
is,
just-
hey,
he
could
threw
we
it.
cut this off and like maybe roll into part 2 because I have so many more questions.
And
or
Marc's
whatever.
Marc's got clients and all the stuff to do, and he's like, "I can do it in half an
Don't
hour."
worry about it.
He was like a dog peeing in another yard, just asserting his dominance.
Well,
like,
either way,
guess who's got the soundboard?
I have the ability to just cut the intros and outros and just put it together. By the way, so
I don't know. That never sounds good to me.
Is there a standard like length for a podcast?
yeah, it's awkward.
there's like short frame podcast, short form that's like 10 minutes, under 10 minutes or less. But this one's usually like anywhere from 40 to an hour and 50.
Yeah.
So
Oh, okay.
I don't know. So now the real question is, will this actually be a part 2, or are we gonna just?
I don't know.
to
We'll
figure it
figure it
out.
out.
I say we just leave it in and it's just all one podcast now.
Oh my god, that'd be hilarious.
So we just throw people for a loop.
yeah, they won't know what.
Yeah.
the
All right.
hell
And
happened.
we're back. And
Just
we're
keep
back.
talking,
Yeah.
then.
Okay.
Are you gonna get comments like live comments like, "Are you back?"
No,
Like-
but I do want to have you back on a show where we have this Discord thing
Oh
now.
my God,
We could
yes.
actually. I meant to tell you about this. I discovered this chat server basically that I'm using for my Twitch, and we could actually load people into a chat room and like mute them all and unmute them as like calling in. And
So,
we
so
hear
that
them.
they could actually ask
And
Yes.
the
questions.
voice,
we
the
can-
voice quality on it is like
It's amazing. Yeah, it's way
Is-
better
would
than
you
Skype.
would you say that it's sick?
It's legit.
Totally
AF.
tubular, dude.
Tubular.
Okay, Finding Dory. Is that what that's from?
Get
or
out.
What do I got going on there?
Well, he's got 30 minutes.
Marc
We
would
already-
know.
I'm
You've
not
watched
thinking
you've
of-
watched
Yeah,
that
you
movie a
watched
bunch
it
of times as a
180
kid.
times.
I'm not thinking of
Toy Story.
Finding Nemo. What are you?
You're like totally tubular. That's what the turtle says. And now I'm revealing the fact
I was
that I know
thinking-
it.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
I betrayed
that's what I'm
myself.
I was thinking of Michelangelo from the Ninja Turtles, but
Sure you
Oh.
were.
I was.
Me too. Then.
Yeah. Is he the one that likes pizza?
Yes.
Is this Ninja Turtles like movie or like the old cartoon?
The old cartoon.
See, like, you
the
gotta like
original.
specify now. Like,
Oh yeah. Then there's the live action movie original. Then there's the other movies later. And
The live action movie's really awful.
I hate saying that I'm too old for for all of it, but I am.
I played Turtles on NES, man.
NES.
So have I.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, love
I
it.
have.
You went down into the you walked over the manhole covered with pew pew pew, and like your guy would blink, and then the next scene you drop into the manhole area under.
That sounds weird when you talk about.
I was in
manholes
search
like
for
that.
Master Splinter. Okay. Anyway, so you were bringing up at a good point before, however awkwardly this turns
Wow.
out in the end, which
Yeah.
is going to be great.
Yeah, it will.
So, well, we love it.
What?
You were talking about the cost
yeah.
of food. Like a
The
lot of
cost of
people are like,
food.
I'm not doing that because this is
It's
you
more
know,
expensive
too
than buying
disruptive to my
junkier
life.
food.
Even the food prep thing for a
That's
lot
what
of
people would say.
for a lot of guys, especially cops. But I'm assuming in a lot of
yeah, for
careers, right? They're freaking busy, and that's a whole that's a whole other issue, right? Like creating more margin of time, valuable time in your life than just working.
Prioritizing.
Yeah, putting your priorities in life in general is a whole other topic. But what do you say to that? Like as far as cost, like and convenience, and how all that pieces together for you and your clients.
the prep issue, like again, the clients get like their weekly assignment and it's evolving. Like, week 1's really easy. Week 12 should be more advanced if I'm doing my job right. But the idea is like, okay, so like protein, Like, let's make life simple. Because, like, okay, now you can have fillets, but are you going to make them every day? You know, that's the question to ask. If you're not, because, like, I don't know if both you guys were saying, I'm just not going to prep food. I'm just not.
I'll never do it.
Yeah, I'll just never do
Ever.
it. So, like, we know we need the protein. Okay, so can we get, like, a whey protein supplement and make a shake? Can we get some cottage cheese? Can we get some Greek yogurt? Can we get easily accessible stuff that you can dump nuts into, berries into? Right? Sometimes I'll say stuff during a session and be like, and like they're like, it's like paying you, and aren't you a professional? Like,
well, it's like jujitsu, and they're like, it's like.
Well, I was making the joke on the way in here, the
like,
north-south position. Like, today we're going to learn the defense for north-south. I'm like, why would I want to learn that? I like it here.
You got to come up from behind, and you just got to.
So what you're going to do is you're going to come up from behind. Now you would have really grabbed the wrist and pin him down. Let him know who's boss. Wait, what? What is this?
Wait, why would I say
Why
that?
are the lights off? What? Why am I the only one here?
Why am I not in jujitsu?
Wait, we're not wearing gis. What? I just woke up. I was at the bar. What did you put in my drink? Where's my kidney? That escalated quickly. Woo. Sorry.
No, what were we talking about?
Did you? How is this living up to your expectations? By the way.
Oh God, he's like, oh my God, I'm so disappointed.
I can't do this ever again.
My wife will be like, how did it go? I'll be like, just Dave's a nice guy. He's a nice guy.
Don't ever bring up the podcast again.
He's really swell. Like, okay, the issue though with cost, like, see, now this is where I act like an idiot and I give you a hard time because say, well, how do we define healthy? Because some people will go like to the overpriced organic section, and buy organic soda with cane sugar, which is like $8 for a 6-pack,
Right.
Yeah.
And now it's like, okay, well, A, it's still sugar, but B, do you need the $8 soda? Like, so now you get into the technicality of, do you define healthy as organic, non-GMO? I need to see.
Grass-fed.
Yes. So that takes it to a level that
Right. You got to find 4 families to buy a cow with and all that stuff.
And I used to be kind of like the food snob of like, if that's not grass-fed, get it on my face. But there's so many. There's conflicting studies on it.
By the way, I ate a steak at a nice steakhouse in Florida, and they actually said that the cows at this farm in Japan, this Kobe beef stuff,
the massaged.
They're
ones?
massaged.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They
get
actually have
massages.
YouTube videos on it.
It's nuts.
I saw your cow.
So the argument is to be made is you're only going to be as healthy as the food that you eat. If you eat a sick chicken breast that was abused or whatever, didn't see sun, the food quality argument is always substantial because you can make a case for it.
Sure.
If it's a matter of just being sensible with the budget, apples, peanut butter, regular chicken breasts, some ground sirloin. I mean, when you go into the grocery store, the question is, do you have a plan? Like, do you have a list? Because most people just go in there and start grabbing.
Yeah.
And it's the choice of, is it the Pop-Tarts or the grass-fed beef? Well, screw the grass-fed beef.
Pop-Tarts.
Because,
Yeah. Oh wait,
Beef.
That was the wrong answer.
Grass-fed beef. Grass-fed beef.
So, if you
Or Pop-Tarts if that pops up first.
Well, and I never kind of like prescribed to that. Like for me, I was like, man, the price difference. It's like I've done that. I've ate like what if you want to call it overly healthy. I don't even know if that's even a real thing, but where like you spend so much more on your groceries, and I never like really saw or felt a real difference. So I was like, why am I not just just eating chicken? Let me just eat chicken breast. Let me just do the it doesn't have to be all that stuff. It's better than what I'm doing. It's better than what I was doing. You know what I mean?
How do you overcome the boredom factor? So if you can make choices that are healthy foods, how do you overcome like, okay, I'm absolutely sick of chicken breast. Now, Tim Ferriss, have you read The 4-Hour Body?
I've read The 4-Hour Workweek, not The 4-Hour Body.
Okay, so
Which is better.
I've read both of those, but he makes a really valid point in his book where he talks about we all eat the same things over. He's like, if you really are honest, you're not eating a bunch of variety. You're just eating crap.
Yeah.
You're just eating the same crap over and over again. So to say, well, I just get really bored of chicken breasts is kind of like you're just lying to yourself because you're eating the same exact stuff in cycles anyway.
Yeah.
So
I think that stands ground. I think though that, again, without getting like way into the psychology of it, some people are they just looking for an out. Like, because you have those days. I have those days where I just don't want to. Shock surprise, I don't want to work out. Like, and you're like, whoa, wait a minute, what?
I don't believe it for a minute.
Yeah, but there are like, so A, are you just looking for an out? But B, I think a lot of people have to break the association with healthy means bland, healthy means boring. I'm not the best cook. I'm kind of robotic with my food. I'm mechanical. Like, this is my protein, this is my fat, with the exception of like when we go out to eat or when we just on a Saturday when we say screw it, let's get some donuts or whatever. But I know
He had
that
to say it, didn't he?
it's what a backfire, right?
I got hot there for a
Like,
second.
this guy sucks as a trader. He's
Am
talking
I
about
sweating right now?
But like, and I couldn't go into and how to like cook the food, but like for instance, like last night for dinner I had a cheese chicken quesadilla, and people go, well, that's not healthy. Well, now neurotically I measure the food. I know exactly what's in it.
Yeah.
I can do it really quickly. I can tell you that the protein was substantial. I used avocados in it for the healthy, smart fat. And people go, you can't have a cheese quesadilla. Well, why can't you? I mean, but again, if everything's in moderation, you can make your own burger as opposed to eating out.
Yeah, right.
And you want to use the term healthy, it's substantially better for you. But people think, well, burger's not healthy. Well, what's it? What you decide what makes it healthy and what doesn't.
Yeah.
If that makes sense, especially if you have the power to make it. And I think a lot of people think eating good or eating healthy is boring. Now, I can't go to the drive-thru every day and expect to be in great shape. There's
Right.
obviously that, but I eat chicken breast like every 2 days. I eat eggs. I eat yogurt. I eat beef. I eat pork. I eat shrimp. I eat fish. I mean, so kind of like with the Tim Ferriss thing, it's kind of a cycle. I think that if you just the chicken breast broccoli thing is going to get boring for I don't care who you are. I don't
Yeah,
care.
absolutely.
You know, so if you're going that extreme and you just don't like, it goes back to I think you're talking about like the depriving and not eating enough. Are you not eating enough or are you not eating right, like in that sense?
Yeah.
Because if you're starving yourself, it doesn't matter how great the food is, you're still starving yourself. The body's going to say, give me more, I need more.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
And your body will suffer from that, right? I mean, you know, if your body's hungry, it's going to start taking from someplace else, isn't it? I mean, you know, when you're hungry and you just don't feed yourself, I mean, isn't it chewing from something else to, you know?
Yeah, like you're tearing down the walls to keep the fire going in the house, keep you warm. In the sense of if you're breaking down protein, like that's the big thing, which is the big thing that you don't want to do. So like starvation diets, very low calorie diets, excessive exercise with low calorie diets. You get people who sometimes I lost 30 pounds, but I don't really like the way I look.
Don't feel good
yeah.
either. Or not performing as well
Exactly.
as you want to.
Expectations,
if you know what I mean.
man. Yeah. Nope, I don't.
Okay, so go ahead.
Now, I think the overall theme, like with it, is whether it's working out or whether it's like the food, like whether you're saying you're eating healthy or not, and that's open to interpretation. If you're miserable, you're not doing it right.
Yeah.
And I think people associate the six-pack abs or the clean lifestyle with being boring and miserable.
I like
Yeah,
to call
that's
those
not-
the Mike abs.
Well, there again, it's like I know when, like I said, in the 190s, the best I've ever felt in my life, like where I know that I was. The numbers don't lie as far as like my ability to perform certain physical tasks, as far as push-ups or pull-ups or any of those like measurables.
Yeah.
I was like 194 or 195. Like that area felt really good for me. Now I don't know if that is a sliding scale in different points in my life that's going to be different, but it's a battle. It's a battle for me to get back to 194. I can get to 205. Getting to 195 again is like I can't even imagine like what it would take to do that. So I've got to make some changes, and this conversation is really good for that.
Can I throw something in there just to?
Yeah.
I think like we mentioned earlier, like all exercise is not created equal, and to go along with like the misery thing, people think like, okay, I need to slug away on the treadmill for hours to get that 194 to get that 193. The fact is like probably about like 10 to 20% of the training my clients do is that lower intensity aerobic plodding away on the treadmill. Now, if it's a stress relief thing or you just love running, if you're one of those sick people that love running. Because I don't run. I don't ever run.
Because there's not a zombie apocalypse.
I love running. I love running.
That's the only reason.
Yeah.
No, but
If someone chasing me with a knife, then I found some motivation with it.
You give the underpaid producer a CVS, he's running his ass to it.
But
That's the key. If CVS just expanded their market in the
betcha.
Metro Detroit area, you'd be a healthy dude.
the what we call like aerobic exercise. I'm gonna go for a 3-hour run. Again, these sick people that like
Right.
No, but like the best. No, but if it works, if whatever above all else, if it's gonna keep you doing it, do it. Number one. But number two, you can learn kind of how to challenge yourself. The thing with that type of exercise is. What we measure in the science world to impress everybody is called EPOC, which basically means what's happening to the metabolism after you exercise. So if people will go, oh, my device said in my 2-mile run I I burned 400 calories.
Right.
Your metabolism goes right back down to baseline.
Mm-hmm.
So like if you burn 2,000 calories a day, you worked out, you ran, your metabolism goes right back down.
Mm-hmm.
And then the thing with that type of exercise is your body gets more efficient. So if you struggle at running, if you suck at it, and then you do it for 2 months, you're like, oh, it's easier. Your body burns less energy
To do it.
because it's better. You know, it's a
Yeah.
more efficient engine. So now that 400 calories is down to 3. So now you have 2 choices. Do I work out more frequently? Do I run longer? Which people associate with the misery thing of now I got to work out 8 hours a week. So what I do with my clients is, I say we because my wife is officially the co-owner, and
Most of the time.
she keeps my head on straight. But
She's an angel.
what we call we mentioned that we use that big fancy word anabolic. We do all these anabolic activities like conditioning drills, sprints. Resistance training is probably anywhere from 50 to 80% of what a client does.
Yeah.
The best thing that you can do for weight loss would be to take an upper body move, like a chin up, and pair it with a lower body move, like a squat, barring that you can do those exercises properly.
Right.
Give yourself 5 sets and try to do 10 reps and rest only 30 seconds. I guarantee you're going to be huffing and puffing. I don't care how great in shape you are, but the trade-off is that 12 hours after that exercise is over, the metabolism now. Sorry. The freeze frame my
He's
face
getting
going. The metabolism is substantially higher now. But so it goes back to what I always tell people is if you want weight loss, do the most bang for your buck. Circuit training with some type of intervals, rowing,
So
stuff like that
for
helps.
me, and I've told myself that I want to do this for a long time, and it comes down to priorities again, like we're talking about. So I'm on the mats doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and when I had taken probably like I'd gone like 3 or 4 months with almost no training, and then I went back, and I went back to a place that the warm ups, everything about it is a lot more intense,
Yeah.
I guess, and I was like dying, right? And now, yeah, I mean, I can make it to the warm ups, I can roll. Today, class started at 11:30. I was there 10 minutes early, just rolling around, messing around, and then class for an hour. Hey, anybody wants to stay? I'll stay for another 10 or 15 minutes, get a couple more rolls in, roll a couple more time,
Yeah.
get off the mat, yeah, sweat, like good exercise, that kind of a thing. Like it's good for my body, obviously, but it's not. I keep saying to myself on the days that I'm not going, so that 3 to 5 times a week that I'm on the mat, when I'm not on the mat on those days, I should be trying to do push-ups, pull-ups, or like other like home. But I'll tell you this: I can't stand weights. I'll never lift another weight in my life.
Yeah.
It shows.
I hate it. It's boring. I just everything about it I don't enjoy doing. I would rather do push-ups and pull-ups and sprints and calisthenics, basically. Actually, like for exercise, I enjoy that compared. Now, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu basically tricks my body into exercising for as long as I'm interested because I'm so interested in the activity itself.
Yeah.
I'm just moving and sweating and exercising is part of it. But it's the actual activity that I'm in love with. So the rest is a great byproduct.
Yeah.
So do you have clients, like if I was your client, would you be able to tailor a whole program that I never touched a weight and I just increase the difficulty? Like I see a few people out there like doing calisthenic only stuff where like now you work up to like, I feel like if I could do 10 one-arm pull-ups, I'm freaking strong as F.
Yeah, that's strong.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so if you work your way up to something like that versus other activities, I don't know. What do you think?
The issue again with exercise is the key. Like we learned the quote. It's called the principle of diminishing returns and the principle of overload. So in the sense of the calisthenics, you need to. How do you overload the body? Now the most basic way to do is just do more reps. If you can do 10 push-ups, you try to work your way up to 15. If you do 15, you try to work your way up to 20. Obviously, at some point though.
Well, gotta get my workout in. 4,000 push-ups.
It becomes
See you in 5 hours.
And that's like again, not to like sometimes I have a few clients who do I write programs for them. They do jiu-jitsu, they compete, and it's like I'll just do my conditioning with jiu-jitsu. It's like, well, that's good, but it's not good because now you're dependent on the other person to control the intensity. That's a whole nother
That's a
topic.
good point because there's some theories out there of like if you want to get better at jiu-jitsu, just do a lot more jiu-jitsu. Like anything, right? If you need to do more push-ups, do more push-ups.
Yeah.
If you want to get better at jiu-jitsu, do a lot more jiu-jitsu.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now you're getting. You could get really technical and argue the technique versus the the condition,
Strength
and
and
all
the-
that other stuff.
And again,
athleticism
this comes down to personal goals. Like I mean, I want to be healthy.
Yeah.
That's the only reason I would do a push-up. I could care less what anybody thinks about, like, as far as the appearance goes, that's meaningless to me. It doesn't matter. I just want to be healthy.
Yeah.
I want to feel good. I want to be healthy. I want to be energetic. And I want to play with my grandkid, just like your client wants to play with his, you know, be able to play with his kid. Like, I want to be there and do fun activities. I don't want to be, you know, a fat slob for that reason. Not because I'm not getting paid to take my picture for, you know, whatever.
Right.
Like, I don't care.
No, yeah.
You know, so those are all things. I know that, like, probably strength training in the sense of that anabolic activity where I'm not, the goal of doing the push-up or the pull-up isn't at all to break a sweat like I do in jiu-jitsu. It's to really actually work the muscle like that.
Well, now, again, though, this is to where you guys yell at me if I start going off.
You're an idiot. Shut up.
Sorry.
But when I say build strength, when I say build muscle, people immediately think of, like, okay, the hulking bodybuilder. Now, if I could just had a wand and throw 10 pounds of muscle on you, and Dave, you guys probably wouldn't even see the difference. Head to toe, right? And that's so discouraging to people to think. Now, if you lost 5 pounds of body fat and built 10 pounds of muscle through a circuit training, not trying to talk you into it, but, like, you would see the difference. Now, that's if you're concerned about, like you said, the way you look or a certain weight. But
doesn't that go hand in hand, really? I mean,
I would
if you
say,
feel good, you'll end up looking good.
I
when
would
you
argue, and everyone has their motivation, like we talk about, but I think Mike's way of I would rather do the work, and when the look comes with it, like,
Right.
that's an
Oh,
extra.
Yeah, absolutely.
But, like,
a lot of people want to look, and that's why they're doing something.
you're right. That is a different
But
effect. Yeah.
For someone like you, it's just like, look, dude, even if the circuit training has been shown to shed 30 pounds of body fat, and you're like, I don't care, I'm not doing it. It would be like, okay, can we push a sled? And then you guys, like, I'm talking about, like, the handles. You you push a sled. You're like, yeah, we know, idiot. Like, you talking like I'm so, going off on this.
I have a sandbag.
Yeah,
that I could fill and change the weight.
Those things are awesome. I love those.
I actually have an app that came with it, like, that gives you, like, changing workouts, like, daily.
I would literally say, okay, let's push this sled for X amount of distance. Let's carry that sandbag and come back, because all it is just you're putting your body through extreme manual labor, and that's where you get that surge of those hormones that burn fat, build muscle. Even if you're not training traditionally like a bodybuilder or a power lifter would. Yeah. Let's go sprint up that hill, and let's maybe row whatever, and we'll rest, and let's do it 4 or 5 more times. Yeah. It probably will take you about maybe 25 minutes, if that. Which people think that's not long enough, but it's so demanding.
Right. Yeah,
it is demanding. Wow, 25 minutes is a lot of time.
And if that's going to keep you especially motivated, that's better than just what people would normally think of, like, we'll just go run around the block or run for 5 hours or whatever extreme thing they were going to do, because it's going to create that environment. Remember, exercise is just, do I get the good stuff to go up? Do I get the bad stuff to go down? Right. If that makes kind of sense.
Yeah. It does.
And so there's a study done where they compared circuit training to, again, with the damn studies, right? The battle ropes, if you've seen those ropes, to a burpee.
Yes, Mark.
Battle rope to a burpee.
To a burpee. And they found that the burpee was the most, what we call the metabolic cost, meaning it caused the highest elevation of metabolism. It caused the highest rate of fat burning. Because, again, when you burn 500 calories, where do they come from?
Well, we did. We endlessly in the police academy was 8-count bodybuilders, which is essentially like step-by-step burpees with a jump at the end or whatever.
They pause or whatever, like they make you pause.
1, 2, hands down, like count it out.
You do it in unison. And
yes. And then I had 50 people in my class, and we did one workout was 8-count bodybuilders called out by every single person in the class. That was it. They put us in formation, and anytime anybody messed up, that person started over again. So we did a lot more than whatever 8 times 50 is.
Can we talk about the time when you passed out doing jumping jacks?
We could.
Or you could just listen to the whole podcast because it's hilarious.
So I want to. So when it comes to the big battle, we've talked about the food, the motivation, but the action, and we're talking about, like, the actual physical exercise. How much difference does it make when you've kind of alluded to this, but CrossFit, right? Is the C word? Is it the C word?
Get out.
That's the real C word. So everybody, like, hopped in the CrossFit. Now, when I was first exposed to CrossFit, it was a website, right? There was a few boxes or whatever, but the goal was down and dirty workouts to do what you're talking about, which is to get that effect, right? Yeah. And now it's become like I tried a gym before, and it was like, okay, we're gonna do the warm up, then we're doing a skill, now we're doing the WOD, then we're going to do this, and all of a sudden you're like there for 90 minutes and you're like, wait a second, this seems to be the exact opposite of what CrossFit was supposed to be about, like functional fitness, you know, like I want something that is enjoyable and different than just going on machines and just moving the machine, you know. So where is your gym and your mindset and philosophy as far as the types of activities compared to the cult of CrossFit? Can I say that? Can I say that?
It depends on your demographics. So like if you get the hate mail after. No, but all CrossFit is just it's branding. CrossFit took stuff that has been around forever. People have been deadlifting. People have been Olympic lifting is a competition, like where you launch the weight above your head. That's been in the Olympics. You can get a gold medal for it if you're really, really good at it.
I'd be like a bronze, probably.
You know,
Probably close.
all they did was, you got to remember, everything comes in fads. So, like, if you guys ever seen Pumping Iron with Arnold Schwarzenegger? Like,
yes. Oh, yes.
I won't even quote that because my wife's going to listen to this. But you know, that caused the whole...
The door closes. He's still quoting. She's gone.
That caused the bodybuilding boom. If you remember, like, the Reebok step up, now I'm really dating myself, like, there was a commercial for that caused a big aerobics boom.
Yeah.
All CrossFit did was they took high intensity training and made it mainstream. People were like, "Oh my gosh, you can."
They made
train.
it cool.
Yeah, that's
really what they did.
That's really it. I mean, they took and they
They put
smart.
some hot bod people in there. Just
Can we make jiu-jitsu cool?
well,
And be
I
millionaires?
can.
But no, but so, and that's to where you get like, this is bodybuilding training, this is powerlifting, they all have merits.
Yeah.
And that's where you do get like the cult thing, because whatever works for one person should work for everybody, right? If bodybuilding worked for me, that's what everybody should do because it worked for me, right? That's just how people kind of think.
Like jujitsu.
Yeah, right. But like, so when you look at CrossFit, though, it's like anything else. There can be really good places, and there can be it's like jiu-jitsu. There can be really good places, or there can be really, really bad places.
Right, so Dave's place is terrible because, well, at least on the times that Dave's teaching. Those classes are atrocious, and that's why there's such a high
They're
turnover.
basically an atrocity to the sport.
There's a high turnover rate weekly. And they're all white belts because they're all new every week.
Well, weirdly enough, because Mark used to come to like, wait a minute.
Interesting.
We used to, my wife and I started, a little side note, and we used to come to the Friday night class a lot. And,
Oh, yeah.
A side note on this show, impossible.
the instructor, I think, either didn't show up or whatever, couldn't, and so Dave took over, and we were just like maybe like one stripe white belts, and it was the whole guys in your guard, you rip the grip, you trap the arm, and you grab the collar, and Dave made a joke about trapping him forever, and my wife and I were like, ha ha, and like no one else laughed. We just kind of, we were new, so we got kind of quiet. We're like, oh, are we in trouble? Like, is he not the funny one? Like, what are we? But
Does everybody actually hate him? Or
that was the
Why
introduction.
did that happen?
So there's good CrossFit places, there are bad CrossFit places. I did my Olympic lifting, I'm USA weightlifting certified. I did my certification at a
Damn right
CrossFit
you are.
place. And it was interesting that the guys talked about their workouts, and it was all skill-based because you're new to it, and these places see like the games on TV, and it's like, well, we got to practice our handstand push-ups. We got to practice our ring work. And it's like, there's a difference between rolling and practicing with your partner arm bars. You know, the intensity is much lower.
Yeah.
So if you do that for 2 hours, if you practice your handstand push-ups, you'll get really good. But is it causing the metabolism to increase? Is it basically a workout, or are we working on our skills?
Right.
And like when you're saying that's 90 minutes, come do it 5 days a week. You're kind of
Like, yeah, this is too much.
I had a client come to me, another little plug. He's lost 25 pounds, but he told me that he went to a place because he liked at first the group mentality, because my studio is private. You have 1,200 square feet to yourself. And that,
dang.
yeah, it's the
bigger
complete
than my
opposite.
house. It's bigger than my life.
Wow.
But he told me that the second day there, they were trying to make him do a 3-minute like headstand, like to learn, and like you could drop down and then reset and drop, like, so you wouldn't hold it, but like it was to build the skill. And I told him, I said, when in doubt, like even with me, when in doubt, ask why. Why am I doing this?
I was just going to say, why the hell would I want to do a 3-minute handstand?
He's like, have you seen the David Carradine series Kung Fu?
And then I'd be like, okay, yeah.
Okay, I'll get back on my head.
But to the point, like there's so much now with the internet, like there's just so much great stuff at your fingertips, so much bad stuff. You've got all sorts of people. They've always told people there's 3 types of trainers. There's trainers who have no clue what they're doing. Maybe they just had great parents and they've got great genetics, like the guys who can eat McDonald's and have a 6-pack.
Yeah.
And they do training on the side to make some loot. You've got the trainer who can get themselves in great shape but has no idea how to apply it or understand individual differences. And then you've got the third person, excuse me, who can do it to themselves and other people, who can get other people in shape. That sounded bad, right? Who can get other people in shape along with
They
themselves.
can just strap on and get going. Wait, what? Wait.
So the three
No,
of us, though,
no.
are all giving out information, and then you guys are reading it going, well, you guys make up your damn mind. So do I do CrossFit? Do I run? Do I eat organic? Do I not? It's like it's so damn confusing because you've got too many people out there giving advice, if that even is the long answer again to your question.
Yeah,
right?
no, I mean, there's, gosh. So your approach, though, is
sorry,
how would that compare in terms of like when someone walks in to your gym facility, what do you call it?
Facility.
Academy.
Studio. We just say studio.
Studio.
You say studio. Studio.
Yeah, we cast people here, so just have a seat. How does it compare to what someone would expect from both whether they would be coming from a traditional sort of like Planet Fitness or whatever sort of gym, or they're coming from like they've had some exposure to CrossFit or think that they know what CrossFit is? Where do you fall in there in terms of like how you normally would like take someone forward?
All right, this is where I either wow you guys with a response or everyone's like, he didn't answer the question. But no, like, so when I do a consultation with the client and they're like, hey, Mark, I'm gonna try this. Okay, they're gonna come back. They're gonna do a full assessment, and that kind of right there dictates what they're gonna do. Now, there's some athletes there who need performance training, but the rest of the clients are either I want to gain muscle, lose fat, or both.
Mm-hmm.
So body composition clients versus the athletes are on the side because they have parameters they got to train for, ice hockey, jiu-jitsu, whatever. So they don't count because they already know what they're trying to do. So we don't do anything that they can't do. So like if you can't squat properly, we have to work on why you can't squat properly. We have to work on mobility drills, blah, 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 blah. But the idea is like, I can see, are you a really powerful person? Can you Olympic lift? If you can I watch it? Are you explosive? Are you more of like an endurance type of guy? That dictates the training.
Mm-hmm.
So like the endurance guy, I have a guy who he actually played college hockey. He's not powerful in the sense like you all know like the guy who can jump, or he's just like that alpha male type athlete. He's the endurance guy, this client. So he does high reps. He barely rests because he's just a workhorse. Now, if I said go sprint 100 meters, that's not going to really do him any good.
Yeah.
Especially because he hates it because he's not good at it. But B, I have to just drill him with high reps, 12 to 15 reps. Let's squat, then let's lunge, then let's press again, because he can just handle the workload, and that forces his body to adapt.
Yeah.
I had a client who's a female client who's just the complete opposite. You give her that stuff, she's burnt out. She can't even perform. But if I give her a clean and jerk, a snatch, a chin up, a sprint, I mean, she can just do that stuff for like sets of 3 reps, and her body changes. So the point being is, you kind of have to find what you're suited for, and that goes back to kind of like the genetic component.
Yeah.
If you're willing to really bite the bullet, you can make yourself good at the stuff you suck
So
at.
it sounds to me like your approach is going to reduce injuries big time.
Well,
right? Because you're tailoring it to their. You're saying they're the one in the gym. They're getting the attention. The workout's built around them, and so the proclivity for injury, trying to like compare yourself to someone else or do something, is going to be a lot lower.
Yeah, my goal is reduce injury, hopefully prevent it as best as I can, and get you from point A to point B as fast as possible within reason. Now, I tell the clients, be honest with me. What's reasonable? Is it a half a pound a week or a pound? Which doesn't sound like a lot, but it adds up. Is 2 pounds is like the maximum that we shoot for, because anything more than that's just too aggressive and too hard to maintain.
Yeah.
But the point being is like to get from point A to point B the fastest, what are you good at? Let's not waste time on what you're not kind of built for. We can sprinkle it in. Like if you're not strong, we can get a little stronger if you care about that, or if I think you need it to help.
Mm-hmm.
But what are your strong suits? Let's train those strong suits, because then the body will adapt, and you're probably going to enjoy it more because you're kind of good at it. If that goes back to the motivation.
Mm-hmm.
But I think to kind of give like a broad answer to it is just the circuit training is kind of the key, because again, it creates the biggest. You're looking at me like, God, this guy in this circuit training, but like
hey, it makes sense. But I'm just in my head as I'm listening, I'm like, okay, how can I adapt this for calisthenics type stuff? Like simple, like at home.
Yeah,
I'm not going anywhere else. I already go to jiu-jitsu, so like. Mm-hmm. I can fill up the sandbag though.
Yeah.
I can push up. I can run to the park. That's literally like a half mile from my house or quarter mile, whatever it is, and go to the playground and I can pull up on things. Like I can do that type of stuff that I could add in, but
I would do to use you as the example. I would say I would do 2 days of like the strong man training. I'm sorry, the strong person training.
We here diversity team. Anyway, the diversity team quit after 1 week.
We need to get like a video of her putting a thumbs up through like a door
Yes,
or
like a
something,
little GIF
and then
that
just
would,
like add it in.
So
hop into the video every time we ask for the
so
diversity
right.
team approval.
But like we talk about like the sled, the sandbag, like run up the hill, carry stuff, drag stuff, like do 2 days of that. And then when you do the calisthenics, don't let the heart rate relax. And the best way to do that is to kind of, I hate to use the term muscle confusion, but it kind of is what it is. But pair an upper body move with a lower. So lunge, push up, pull up, squat. Like have the body go, well, wait a minute, where's the blood going? What am I doing? By the time it adapts to the push up, you're squatting. Makes sense?
Yeah,
And that kind of creates things. So if that's the way you wanted to go, but like, hey, I just want to do stuff at home, the calisthenics, what's my most bang for the buck?
Yeah.
In that sense. And then like, how do you formulate a plan to where each week, you do 3 rounds of push-ups, squats, chin-ups, and lunges. Next week, do 4 rounds. Third week, do 5. Fourth week, cut it down to 2, give your body a break. Then maybe the 5th week, go back to it and say, okay, I'm gonna squat, I'm gonna lunge, and
What
I'm
if
gonna push
like
up.
what if this is I got so many
I know.
I got so many questions
Probably has to go
and I'm thinking about a lot of these
that
and
stupid kid of
but
his.
at least my
gotta watch
initial one
Inside
is
Out.
how much does it matter, especially given the fact that I'm not like my goal even with jiu-jitsu, I don't have aspirations to be a world champ.
Yeah.
I'm already
You sound like
Not
me.
everybody does.
Not
but,
everybody does.
Not everybody can do it.
Not
everybody can do it.
some people can once
Guys ask,
and then quit.
They're like, what are your goals here? I'd be
And
like,
they get too old and they'll practically die every day
when
when
I'm
they
rolling
do
with
it.
somebody, I would just like to just tap them once. Like that's my personal goal. Like, if
I'm
gonna
just
do
looking
that,
for a tap,
yeah,
one time.
maybe a sweep.
My thing. It's too much to ask.
I mean, we can't all be televised. You know what I
We
mean?
can't
Like,
all
here
be,
we are.
yeah.
I'm winning.
Yeah, we can't all have our hands raised in the air being number one.
Right,
You know?
we can't.
Not everybody.
But that's beside the point.
So even with that, like now I will compete every once in a while because I find a certain value in challenging yourself.
Yeah.
With that sometimes. But for me, so let's say that like I wanted to do there's like the 100 push-up program or the whatever pull-ups, and I can't remember, I wish I could remember, like at our jiu-jitsu academy actually we have a pull-up bar there, and there's this sheet of somebody's program to like increase your pull-ups or something like that. So would that be a value to where like, what, outside of my jiu-jitsu, I'm for the next 6 until I reach that goal, I'm going to focus on this pull-up program, and then I might do a push-up program, and then I might mix it up, like, or whatever. Or you're saying, like, you really should probably mix things in. Don't focus on just one thing for a period of time in addition to your jiu-jitsu.
Like somebody brand new who comes to me who's like, I've never worked out a day in my life. It's like, yeah, start small. Somebody like you who's used to the physical activity of jiu-jitsu and all that, and who already has that kind of base level motivation, and it's like it's already ingrained in you, that lifestyle. Like challenges are good in my opinion to just kind of build mental toughness. I know that sounds like I'm a crotchety old guy from the 30s of like, come on, man, like let's
With the handlebar
The
mustache.
handlebar mustache holding the dumbbell, the round dumbbells up in the air.
yeah. But like I would like now again it goes back to the 100 push-up challenge gets you better at push-ups. Some people will do that and go, well, I'm going to get ripped, or I'm going to, well, no,
Right.
That's so like if you're going to do that, but it's still like I want to work out for jiu-jitsu, I would just take the push-ups out of whatever you're doing. Like don't overload the push-up, but it's like I still want to circuit train Mark and do calisthenics or do the strong person training, right? I'm very PC, right? No, but like just do like I would just take the push-ups out of it, and if that challenge is going to like you're going to love it, get off on it, whatever, do it by all means, because it's going to make you whatever, like the old mental toughness. And I used to do it with clients, like kind of like this is just challenge day. For what I found with people coming in the studio, it was just a no-go. It just didn't work. Maybe it was too extreme. But again, they're not. Jiu-jitsu is a whole other animal. I mean, you're used to people being in your personal space, and it's really humbling. So
it's very humbling.
Yeah. So I think like the challenge aspect works differently.
I didn't know. Is it?
Yeah, where did you take a wrong
I
turn?
don't know.
You proud son of a...
And I know that you have to go pretty soon. I actually kind of wanted to look something up. You guys posted something on Upper Echelon that I reposted. Actually, really liked it. Of course, why wouldn't this thing reset itself? So
You got the Wi-Fi?
I always got the Wi-Fi's.
Oh, okay.
I have unlimited LTE. Nice. Now I don't know if you wrote this or what, but it's that waiting for the perfect time.
I wrote that, yeah.
I love this, and I want to read this because this is hugely important, I think. And this is one of those things. Okay, so this is on Upper Echelon Fitness's Facebook page. You'll often hear people talk about the perfect time to start a training program or to change their nutrition habits. It usually goes something like this: when work settles down, or when the kids go back to school, or when the holidays are over. It's this type of thinking that leads to the all or nothing principle. I'll start when I can be assured that I'll be perfect. Unfortunately, when it comes to all or nothing, we're usually left with nothing. Let me share something with you. There is never a perfect time to do something. The universe will not contort to create the perfect conditions for you. Those outside forces, work, kids, etc., are never going to give you a chance to change. You have to make that opportunity for yourself. It goes back to like, he tells everybody the things they do not want to hear. The last thing they want to hear, but it's that dose of reality, right? Yeah. And I think again, going back to that, it works for everything with people. Like, we talk about cops, we could talk about anybody. We all have our excuses, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And yet a year from now, we could have looked back and said, man, I could have done something different. I could have made myself better in this kind of way, but every day I kept putting it off, and all of a sudden a year goes by, or 2 years, or 3 or 5 or 10. I just love that, man. So.
Yeah. No, I think like people sometimes look at me like I'm a superhero because I'm this trainer. I know that's really flattering to say.
I do.
No, but like I always tell people like, besides like, I'm married, I have kids, we eat pizza, we go to birthday parties. I do normal things. Like I'm not like this robot that just lifts weights all day, but like I would argue that my training, my nutrition is better than it was a year ago. And that at that time it was better than it was 2 years ago in the sense of just trying to get better. And again, it goes back to the idea of like, if you always hit the reset button, like they say, like, okay, well, I'm going to start after this, or I'm going to like, it's just, you're going to get good at hitting the reset button. And we meet, either we do it ourselves or we meet people who do that.
I have a book idea. I want you to help me write it. And I'm also changing. You are a hero. I'm changing 911 to call you.
Oh, great. Yeah.
Okay. So
we've revamped the system.
Can you call the 35-year-old wearing the superhero T-shirt, please?
I want to call it positivity.
Mm-hmm.
Like everybody's looking for like these positive changes in their life, and I really think sometimes for me, I'm learning that it comes down to what, like I said earlier, like I'm saying a whole bunch of things that I want to be true in my life, but the reality is where they're at. So, like I said, if I say I want this, but I'm not lying, but I just want this more. Like if you can pause long enough to be honest with yourself about where those things are, and then, okay, I need to take the step to move that from 4 to 3.
Yeah.
I need to take that little incremental step. Like if I can pause long enough to be honest with myself and listen to the input from other people who are being honest with me, I can actually make massive changes over time. If you pause long enough to really think it through. So I need you to help write that.
No, like, well, you're
or write the whole thing for me.
I want you to be my ghostwriter.
I was going to say you'll be
I'm gonna
basically
give you
my 90% ghostwriter.
Absolutely no credit.
you're the underpaid author, right?
Yeah, the not paid author. But yes, close enough.
You're almost there. No, but like if you like Tim Ferriss is a great example because he's just surrounded by people and like the message is the same of just I hold myself accountable.
Yeah.
Like it's like the small steps. I don't look at failure as failure, and that like it sounds corny. Like failure's a learning way. But
I'm gonna give you a win. We're gonna roll on the mats. I'm gonna let you sweep me. I'm not gonna let you tap me. That's not gonna happen. But sweep me. I'll let you do that.
Actually, you guys would be a pretty good matchup. I think I'd like to see.
I remember the first time, like after a month or so, I think I tapped a guy to a Kimura, and I was like, it works. Like it was just like
today I work like. Oh my goodness, man! I had some guy like I don't know what it's called. It's like this sambo nonsense or whatever. You wrap the head and you just like put all the weight. And he's a big boy. He's like 260 on my chest. Like just like expelling all the air from my lungs while he's cranking my neck up. And I was able to get enough breath, and I got out. And then just slammed in the bow and arrow as hard and fast as I could, and then the bell rang, and that was it. I didn't get the tap, but
man, we got to do this. Man.
Oh, Hey, Mark, thanks for coming out and hanging out with us.
Yeah,
Are you?
It was
willing-
okay.
It was all right. I mean, not as good as our normal stuff without
No,
you.
that's
but,
true.
You know. Are you willing to come back and do like a show where? Because I really want to push this because it's something that's actually I really
huge.
feel like it's so important in the law enforcement community. Like guys letting themselves go. Or people, I'm sorry, I know people letting themselves go.
Not to interrupt. How was that? You said like you did the thing of like, hey, shout out, like, how are you doing or whatever. What was the response to that? That you said like to police officers, like, have you let yourself go? How are you working?
You know what?
out?
Just somebody just last night on a live stream that I did hopped into this chat thing that I was telling you about later and was saying like he's looking at jiu-jitsu. He's like, what you said about overweight, out of shape cops. He's like basically I felt guilty. Like it hit the nail on the head. Like it's me.
Yeah,
I let myself go.
that video has 1.4 thousand likes and 20 dislikes, 27,000 views.
But yeah, I mean, it's like we're trying to encourage people to take it serious, and it's with the shift work, all the stuff that we talked about. It's like it's in a concentrated form in the law enforcement community is something that really needs to be addressed, you know, for sure. And there's a lot of reasons why cops won't get on the mats or won't take that. There's a lot of ego involved. And there's all kinds of things. But what I would love to do is if people like this episode that we put out here and they want to hear more, then let's ramp it up. And we'll really promote it. That way people know to hop into our Discord, and then we can start queuing up questions and have more of like a laid-back time to just like let
really good.
field some questions.
Sounds good to me.
And honestly, I mean, go to Upper Echelon on Mark's Facebook.
Oh, I'm sorry. Can I say www.iamupperechelon.com?
Yes,
I am www.iamupperechelon.com.
And spelling upper echelon is the real challenge because I wouldn't know how. I would have to.
I think there's a
ESC.
Q in there. There's an F.
It's got to be your bull.
But and I'm telling you, every time Mark puts something out, I end up sharing. I don't do that, but I love it, man. Again, a lot of what he says, it kind of hits home.
I spelled it right the first time.
Oh goodness, here we go.
Yeah, because of autocorrect on Google.
Learned man. But
No, I did it
but
right.
because he's honest. He doesn't try to foot around like, but if you try to, he's like, look, this is the deal. If you don't do this, you're an idiot. No, okay, he doesn't do that, but that's me. But he hits you with hard truth, and that's why I love when he like puts things out. So look it up. Do it. Do it now.
All right. Well, this is the real ending as opposed to the fake ending you heard 40 minutes ago. That was great. It's a long one, guys. I think compared to what we've been
might
doing
break it in
lately.
two.
But
Who knows?
I
We'll
don't know
see.
what's going to happen. Do it. Whatever.
Oh yeah. Thanks, Mark.
Bye.